And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, we have some issues going on with public K through 12 education. We're talking about some of these debates that aren't debates because of the whole LGBTQ, LMNOP, XYZ thing. Then we're talking about a few other issues that really need to be discussed. We'll talk about those a little bit more a little bit later. Also, did you guys see the guy with the Migrant Caravan? Came all the way from South America, if I'm not mistaken, Darien Gap in between Colombia and Panama, talking about how the Biden administration is allowing all this to happen and how they are asleep at the wheel. This guy was talking and speaking so well about the issue, you might as well have him be the Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Have him replace Alejandro Mayorkas, Tony Blinken, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and all the rest of them. We'll get to that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the Ohio social worker who did the unthinkable. I mean, this kind of thing is going on in this country, and it goes back to the whole LGBT and all the social issues that we have happening yield results like this. DoorDash talking about, hey man, you know what? If you don't tip, your order might not get there on time. It might be kind of messed up. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. We got a lot going on. We're going to get into. We got a lot of videos that I've not covered during the regular stream. We have a lot happening tonight, and I thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the absolute best. Now, y'all know how I do. Before we get into it, shout out to you guys, of course, for watching, being here as always. This is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. This will be available 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So today is Wednesday, November the 1st. November's already here. Just 2 more months of 2023. Then we're going to be in the 2024. And in about 1 year from now, we'll be at the next election. 2024 is going to be a crazy year for the election process. We got court action going on. We got 10 for the big guy going on. We got a lot of things happening. But anyway, the podcast will be available 8 a.m. tomorrow morning on your favorite audio streaming platform. And then, of course, the Saturday podcast will be available the very next day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, or the next day after that. All right. And also, this show is sponsored by you guys, but of course, the regular sponsor. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. Their link will be in the description, or just visit patriotpost.us in your browser bar. Tell them ABL sent you. Also, go to my merch website, ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to see articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, you'll see videos, you'll see links, you'll see whatever you need to add as a reference point or an addendum, if you will, to my YouTube videos. Again, anthonyblogan.com. And of course, go to the contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find my email address, my email address, my social media accounts, my Twitter, not going to call it X, Facebook, and what else? Instagram. All that good stuff will be right there on the contact page. And of course, if you're ever wondering if you're speaking to me or not on the internet about something, a big clue that it's not me you're speaking to, and it's some scammer from Nigeria or Lithuania is that I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm not going to tell you to correspond with me on some random 45-digit phone number on WhatsApp or Telegram or some random weird stuff like that. If that happens to you, if someone that looks like me, to have my picture and a name similar to mine, that's not me. Don't get scammed. Don't send anybody money through any kind of nefarious means. If you want to donate to me, to ABL, all my links are right here below the video. You have Cash App, you have PayPal, you have the Super Chats. All that's right here in the video. Anything beyond that, like a comment that someone leaves, it's not me. All right. I don't know about Bitcoin. I don't know about Forex. So do not get scammed in 2023. Anybody ain't got no time for that. All right. So we got a whole lot going on. And again, I thank y'all again for being here. And thank you, Retro AI. I appreciate you for the love on the article. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We got a whole lot going on, a lot to get into. And I don't know where to start. First of all, hope you guys had a good Halloween and you did not get into any kind of crazy trouble or anything like that outside. All right. I've been seeing this video floating around and people are kind of overreacting, in my opinion. I'm going to show you guys this video and then I'm going to show you another one from last year. All right. So this is the video that has been floating around. People are saying these are illegal aliens. They may or may not be. But I mean, to me, listen, if it's Halloween and you're putting candy outside, you have to expect that some people might come and take it or they may take too much. The bowl is meant to be taken and some may take too much. You know, I almost handed out candy myself, but I didn't want to just put a bowl out there. You know, I was a little bit too busy. I had too much stuff going on. I wanted to be out there giving the candy out because you leaving the bowl out there. All it takes is one kid, one family to come and snatch it, put it in the book bag and go about their business. All right. So let's check it out. So what's happening here? You got a big bowl of candy and the family's taking all the candy. So you got adults. Now, okay, I'm counting mostly like older people and or adults. I can't tell. Like some of them, like they might be like parent age. The guy right there might be like an older teenager or something. I can't really tell. But a lot of them are kind of older. You get some kids in there. This might be about, I'm counting at least 5 to 6 people here. Actually, probably about 7 or 8. It's like they keep multiplying. My man had to come back and see if all the candy was gone. So the whole family came and took the bowl. This caused a lot of outrage. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and say it's okay to steal all the candy from a bowl, but it's candy. It's Halloween. You put in the candy out there. So the thought process is, okay, you put the candy out there, you take a little bit. Don't take too much. Take enough. 2 or 3 pieces. That's pretty much what it is. But you're dealing with people on Halloween, especially kids. They're going to take a lot sometimes. And it is what it is. Right now, let's take a look at another video. This one caused a lot of outrage on the internet today, but let's look at another video I have of a video that I saw last year. Now, I'm not quite sure if this happened last year or if it just came out last year, but let's just saw it. Let's just watch this. Hold on. Let me give me 1 second. All right, perfect. Let's do that. And then let's do this. So my man right here was a lot more efficient. In and out, thief in the night. You know, that whole video is 15 seconds. He came straight into the little foyer, the little what you call this? Little porch, little fenced porch, I guess you would call that area. And just had his book bag, took the entire bowl, dumped it in the bag, zipped it up, gave a middle finger to the Ring camera, and was about his way. There you go, see? And then look at that. Oh, that's yeah. So he obviously knows, hey, I know you're watching, but look, check it out. I'm gonna take all this candy, put it in the bag, and be on my way. Yes, and the finger. That's correct. And he was in and out. He had to just dig through the bowl, make a bunch of noise. He went in, got the bag, dumped it, and that was it. And you know what? He probably will go back home, dump the bag, and then go do another house just the same way. So that's what happens on Halloween. But you know, on Halloween time, for me, I was never a bad kid. I would always take the appropriate amount of candy because I knew that you can't just do that. Okay. And we would go to the nice neighborhoods and these big houses. Usually when I was a kid, they'd be outside giving the candy to you, or you go to the door, trick or treat, and they come outside, give the candy. It was rare that I would see a bowl. That happened like toward the end of my trick or treating career. That was like toward the end. Once high school time came around and I got to be too old, that's when that started to happen. But before that, as a kid, yeah, nah, they would come to the door. That's just pretty much what it was. So yeah. Now I was a chubby kid, but I wasn't just gonna take candy that I thought might have been a little bit too much. All right, but yeah, shout out to everybody that celebrated Halloween. If you had your kids out there, hopefully you guys stayed safe. I know a lot of people go to church and things of that nature for Halloween because people out here are crazy. They put all kind of stuff in the candy. It's a mess. It's a crazy mess. So hopefully you guys stay safe. Now, how did the bowl thing become a trend? People be lazy now? I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I never really, like I said, that was more toward the end of my career. That was like, I started to see that right around the year 2000-ish or before. Well, before that, because I was in high school in the late 90s. So like 98, maybe I started to see that kind of thing happen. But before that, I didn't really see it. All right. So, and that's that. But we got a whole lot more going on. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourself tonight. We got quite a few videos. Now I heard that the rapper Puff Daddy, that you may know as Diddy, he portrayed Joker last year and he got a cease and desist letter from Warner Brothers. Now I'm not sure if that's true or false. I don't know. Any legals out there, can a studio tell you to not dress up as a thing for Halloween? I've never heard about that in my life. I mean, I think that might be a lie. What do you guys think who know about the law? Do you think that Puff was telling the truth about that, or was he lying? Because what he wound up doing was dressing as somebody else. But I'm gonna show you his Joker outfit. Yeah, but I highly doubt it's true. Hold on, I'm gonna show you the TMZ article. Oh yeah, it's in the news, because that's if what he says is true, that might be an overreach to say you can't dress as somebody for Halloween because you're a celebrity. I mean, where's my rights as an American? Why can't I dress as a Joker or a Batman or whatever I want to do? How does that really happen? Who cares? I mean, what if a company told you what you couldn't do in your personal everyday life? What if you got a letter from a company and they told your kids you could not dress as a certain thing because they own the copyright to it? How does that really work? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's weird. I feel like that's corporate overreaching to your regular everyday walking life. But check it out. So you see the headline: Warner Brothers cease and desisted me, my Joker costume. Gonna push the limit again. So that's him right there on the right, well, in the center. That's the Heath Ledger Joker. And that's the way he dressed up as Joker last year. They sent him a letter and said, nah, you can't do that anymore, allegedly. But I'm not quite sure I believe it. Oh, and one thing that happened, he almost got into a fight last year. It was so weird. Maybe that's why they sent him a letter like, look, man, you out here trying to fight random guys in the street in a Joker outfit. You're making the brand look bad. So don't do that anymore. But still, if I want to become the Joker or Batman or a Powerpuff Girl, whatever I want to do, that's my prerogative on Halloween or any other day of the week. But anyway, hold on. Santo Bartez says Marvel told her father he couldn't have Spider-Man on the grave of his kid. Wow. Oh my goodness. What in the world? Really? Come on, Marvel. Is it that deep? Is your copyright that deep? You can't have it on the tombstone? That's crazy. Hey, man, it's an evil world we live in. But yet and still, Puff decided to go ahead and portray another character in the DC universe.
I'm tired of mediocrity. Of the shortcuts.
All right, so you see what's going on here. Now, personally, after this little promo is like 2 minutes, I ain't gonna play the whole thing. But after this promo, now, if the letter from WB is real, if it's real, now I want to see Puff Daddy as Batman. Now I want to see that. Go ahead and cast him. I don't want to see no more Ben Affleck. I don't want to see no more of the other guy who weighed about 45 pounds from Twilight or whatever his name is, the Batman with Zoe Kravitz. I don't want to see him. I want to see Puff Daddy as Batman. Yes.
Of the greed. Of empty suits telling us that we don't deserve more. What am I to do, Big?
You go hard. When they doubt you, you definitely gotta go hard. When you fall hard. That pain gonna make you grow.
That is not Kanye. That is Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Sean Combs.
The real need you. They need you. It's time. Come on.
Now, my thing is am I looking at CGI or is that a real Batmobile? I feel like if you had a whole Batmobile and then the whole Batman outfit planned and you got this whole cinematic and it drops right on like Halloween night or the day after, I feel like the whole cease and desist letter might have been fake. That's just me, because everything you see nowadays, you got to question. When you see a viral video, you got to ask yourself, is this real? When someone says something on the internet, is this real? You can't really tell. All right, I ain't gonna play the whole thing, but there you go. So shout out to all the Halloweeners. Shout out to everybody. Halloweeners, that's probably the wrong way to go about saying that. Shout out to everybody that celebrates Halloween. How about that? But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. And I got a lot more videos to show here. There's a whole lot going on, actually, that I really want to get into. Now, one more about Halloween. This one could be controversial, but at the same time, I don't think that it will be. All right. Now, you guys tell me your opinion. So here's what's going on. I'm not quite sure where this is, what part of the country, or it might not be in America, but I think it's in America. What's happening is ex-offenders who participate in trick-or-treating are getting arrested. Let me just play the video so you can see what's happening.
So right now what is happening is the news is going to houses that have sex offenders living in them. And anybody who is in violation goes to prison. So sex offenders cannot participate in trick-or-treating. And if they do participate, they get locked up. Damn. So right now,
hey man, it is what it is. You see the news camera. See my man right there. It might be kind of hard to see, but you see the vehicle right there toward the center of the black vehicle. Right to the left of that, you have a news camera, a guy that's filming everything happening. So they're going door to door. If you got candy outside, you got decorations, they see you out there handing out candy to kids, and you on that list. Now you're going to the penitentiary because, see, now you're violating. You're doing things you cannot do. You're having contact with these children. So, hey, shout out to the news. Shout out to everybody out there who is involved with taking these guys to the penitentiary. All right. Yeah, I don't see the issue either. I don't see the issue. I see no problem. I say, hey, go for it. You guys are doing great work. Great work getting these guys up out of here. You know, if you really, if I could just be the king ruled by fiat, anybody that gets actually convicted where it's hardcore evidence, okay, we got pictures, we got witnesses, we got DNA. If I can tell for 100% certain that you did something like that, not you guys, but those guys, if I could tell that they did that and it's beyond a shadow of a doubt, I got all the evidence and it's irrefutable evidence, I caught you red-handed, hey man, you're going to get sent out back, old Yeller style, and just be done with it, because once you come out, you have a very high rate of recidivism. So we don't need that kind of scum in society. Take you out back and be done. Now, I'm not saying what I would do, but you guys can put 2 and 2 together to get 4. You guys are pretty smart. You can use your brain very well. So you already know what time it is. And I don't think that if I was to pass something like that, that it would meet much criticism. Because again, you gotta have the actual evidence to say, hey, they did this. There's no shadow of a doubt. It is what it is. It did happen. Now, we're going to keep on rocking and rolling here. We got a whole lot more going on. Oh, here's a crazy video. Now, I was speaking about being safe on Halloween, right? Being safe, don't get involved in anything crazy. That's pretty important. Now, I have 2 videos where people did not necessarily remain very safe. This one was crazy. You got a guy that's shoplifting for some reason, or trying to shoplift. And I think maybe one of the store employees has been practicing at one of those tomahawk throwing places. You know, they tell you the whole thing, like, okay, hold it behind your head and then let it go at a certain point, give it the momentum, and then you let the axe throwing. You throw the axe, hold it behind your head, and then push it forward, release it, it'll go right in the wall, right? That's what they say. Now, this guy may use that same tactic, but rather than a tomahawk, rather than an axe, he used something else. Now, let's go ahead and check it out. And there we go. There's no sound to the video, but you'll be able to see what's happening. All right, so you got a security guard right there in the black confronting a shoplifter with the white hat and the red hoodie or shirt, whatever that is. So you see the security guard trying to like keep him in the store with a row of carts, trying to block his exit. Now you see the guy is trying to get around the guard, and on the other side, on the right-hand side of the screen, see where my mouse is, there is a store employee, and he has what appears to be a bottle of Coca-Cola in his hand, like a 3-liter, maybe even a wine bottle, but I think it's a bottle of Coca-Cola, a plastic bottle. Check it out. Boom. One time, hit him in the head, and he down. Let's watch it one more time in real time without me interrupting. Again, there's no sound to the video. Somebody put the Mario sound effects, and when he got hit, it was a coin drop sound effect. Hilarious. Watch this. Bam, side of the head. So, hey, you know what? We've seen plenty of videos of the shoplifters getting away with it and getting into confrontations, all kind of stuff. You know what? Hey, if we could train the employees on how to throw soda can, and that was a like perfect hit. That's got to be about a good 10 to 15 foot throw. Perfect. The form, the accuracy, look at my man's body. Perfectly bladed, just direct. That's why I say he probably was trained by doing the axe throw, because that was perfect. Boom. And he's all right. You know, he all right. He just got hit with a Coke bottle. You know what I mean? Just got knocked a little bit silly. And the moral of the story is, don't steal. Maybe you won't get hit upside your head with a Coke bottle by a random store employee. All right? Don't steal. Keep your sticky fingers to yourself. Now, here's another video. And you know what? He should have got a raise for sure. Elevate his pay from just regular store associate to general, or like at least assistant manager. Maybe not GM quite yet, but at least assistant manager. Give him a little bit of a pay raise. put them on a security team, security detail, get them a few more hours. Y'all know how the whole hourly game goes. Now, here's one more video that I have of a crash. Now, everybody appears to be okay in the crash. Matter of fact, I got 2 crash videos actually, because one of them is pretty crazy, and I'm not quite sure how the guy how he managed to even make it through. But here's a crash. This is post crash. This is not crash footage, but the person is concerned about what's going to happen afterward. All right. You guys probably saw the motorcycle crash. This is something different. This is a vehicle, a car.
Hey, you're good. They're coming.
Hey, they're coming right now.
Go panic.
Wait, did you call the cops?
Yeah, they're coming.
Don't call the cops!
What the fuck you mean don't call the cops? You guys are flipped on the side.
It doesn't matter!
It doesn't matter.
You're here to
It doesn't matter if you guys are drunk. What matters is you guys are okay.
Yes, but
Is there?
Do you see what's going on? Okay, let's just pause for a minute. Now, this vehicle, this what appears to be some kind of SUV, I can't tell, like a Ford Explorer type vehicle. The vehicle is crashed and it's on its side, literally on the side of the road or in the road. It's literally on its side. The windshield looks like a sheet of paper got balled up. Okay. The person is speaking saying, hey, why'd you call the cops? It's like, what do you mean? Your vehicle is literally on its side. It's crashed. You can't just call Safe Light and replace the windshield. You got all types of dings and dents and everything else. Your transmission, it might catch on fire. You should try to escape the vehicle right now. You see her right there at the very top? She's poking her head out the top of the vehicle. Well, not the top of the vehicle. It's the top because it's on the side. She's poking her head out of the passenger side door, which I think is off of the car because it crashed. Talking about some don't call the cops. Really? For real?
Are you okay?
they're going to take my car!
The car's done.
The car's flipped on the side.
It doesn't matter!
What do you mean take the car?
Taking the car, I mean, that car has been taken. The car, speed has taken that car. Your alcohol took that car. The road itself took the car. That car is done. That's not no body shop type situation. That's more of a go to the junkyard type deal going on. That's more of a call my insurance, and if I'm drunk, I'm out back type deal.
Hey,
That's crazy. Yeah, so the door is closed, but the window is busted open. So she popped out of the passenger side window, which was basically like standing straight up because the car's on its side. So yeah, moral of the story: don't drink and drive. Don't drive reckless. If you had one too many, Uber, I promise, it's everywhere. You might live in a small place, but look. Do something else. Call a friend, do something rather than getting in your car and drive, because obviously what happened to that particular individual, that's not really going to be worth it. Now, this crash, you're going to see a crash video here. So fair warning. Now, this person lived. They did not die. They lived. This person was going 140 miles per hour on their motorcycle. 140.
If you ride like lightning, crash like that.
Okay, we got music. Like, who did that? And then the truck ran him over. But again, it looks real bad. He ran into the back of the vehicle. Let's play one more time. But he lived. Injured. Oh yeah, he's beyond injured. Definitely beyond. If he walks again, if he walks right without a crazy limp or any kind of assistance, he'll be lucky. But he did not die. So you see that? See, you doing stuff like that. People that drive like that on the interstate. I mean, look, I don't want a guy like, I don't want this person to get hurt or to die. But if he did die, then it's like, well, you did it to yourself, my man. You are going 140 in between big rigs and regular vehicles. What are you doing? Why would you do that? And then, of course, you're not necessarily, your reaction time can only be so much when you're going that fast. You're trying to get in between the truck and the other vehicle or around the other vehicle, but instead you pop right into the back of the pickup. That could be an F-150 right there or something, or a GMC. Yeah, you pop right in the back of that Toyota Tundra, whatever it is, and now you slumped over, and then here comes the... So again, moral of the story there is maybe don't go 140 miles an hour on a motorcycle in between vehicles on the road that are going normal speed. Yeah, he did it for the clicks. Well, hey, man, you're going to need a few more clicks to pay for the medical bills now. How about that? But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And again, he didn't die. He didn't die. He is injured. Oh, yeah. Beyond injured, but not dead. Not dead at all. Now, here is a quick one that I have shown before. Not this particular video, but this kind of video. Street interviews, asking questions. Now, you'd be surprised. People think that these are cherry picked and the average person should know these. But if you go out on the street yourself and just ask people these questions, you'd be surprised that people just don't know it, especially the younger generation. We're going to get into the whole education piece of what's happening here in a minute. But education, at a certain point, is like, does anybody get taught anything? Is anybody learning anything? Is anybody able to learn anything? I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to play another video about the perfect teacher that I might have played before. But then I'm going to also play teachers talking about how hard it is to teach right now.
Capital of the USA is?
Isn't the capital of USA?
Yeah. What is the capital?
USA? United States?
Yeah, like, of the states, what's the capital?
America?
Yeah.
So the question is, what is the capital of the USA? She's like, the USA, America. That's the capital of America. It's America.
It was a trick question. You got me. You know who the first president of the United States was?
Abraham Lincoln.
Do you know how many stars there are on the U.S. flag?
100? I don't know. No, 200 something.
100 stars on the flag. The first president, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, hey, that's 2023 education. Shout out to all the young people and everybody else who knows basic American facts. Basic facts. I mean, we're not saying name every state capital, but you should be able to name maybe at least half of them. At least a few you should name. Some of the more obscure capitals might be kind of hard. The capital of Nebraska or somewhere like that. But the capital of the USA, that's pretty simple. Okay. Name 2 rivers in America. That should be pretty simple. Right? But we're gonna keep on going here because we have more. We definitely have more. Purple Pros, says, it's a young people's fault. They are dumb. Who do we expect to teach them? Great question. Because at a certain point, you got to have the proper educators that are able to come in and teach the kids. Now, I'm gonna get into what's going on. Hold on. Matter of fact, I got 2 I gotta play. Y'all give me a second. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I gotta find the one video that I had before. Yeah, there we go.
The day I pulled.
Now, I may have played this on the live stream, but I did a video about it, and I want to expand on it a little bit further. And this was a pretty interesting video as far as the responses. Like, I read a lot of responses sometimes. Like, what I'll do as far as reading comments, I will occasionally jump into the comments and read some. But, of course, I cannot read every comment because it's just too many during the day. But I do read some. And I read some from this video here that I did a reaction on. And shout out to Michael Critchlow. You sent me the suggestion, if I'm not mistaken, or like a super chat asking if I'd seen the video from this guy, Chris Crone, about why I pulled my kids out of public school. And I understood what he was saying. I think what he said made sense, but in reality, for public school, I think it's unrealistic. And then I'm going to show you a video of why it's unrealistic.
My kids out of school was when I was in a parent-teacher conference and the teacher was 200 pounds overweight. And I looked at her and I said, no, you're low energy, you're depressed, you're spending more time with my kid during the day probably than I am. And I'm concerned with the amount of influence that you're exerting because what you're teaching is not what's in the book. It's how you're living your life. You are not an inspiring human being. Most teachers actually are uninspired and don't like what they do. And then there's a really cool system that will keep them job protection forever. You can't get fired. So they hate it. They have one of the most important jobs and they're the worst paid. The whole system is wrong.
If you were to put your kid in public school, what do you think the teacher should be paid?
My teachers get a $10,000 raise every year. They're $70,000, $80,000 a year. And then I get to pick the teacher. I'm picking the coolest, most experienced, fittest. Teach me meaning, teach me fulfillment, and teach me happy. A great teacher has world experience in their 40s and 50s and still can relate really well to a child. If I had a choice between a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old, I'd take the older one. The day I pulled my kids out of school was when I was in a parent.
So, I mean, what he said right here, I understand. He's like, they got to get paid a certain amount of money, and then a $10,000 raise every year. That might be kind of unrealistic. $10,000 every year. I mean, that's a lot, because if they make 60 after 10 years, they get paid 160. That's kind of unrealistic for public K through 12, because how are you going to be able to fund that? It'd be nice, but how are you going to fund it? And also, the key thing that I wanted to mention about that is that you can give all the money in the world to these teachers, but if the parents are not on board, if the kids are not on board, then you're not going to get necessarily better results. It does not take that much money to teach kids. To actually achieve the goal of teaching children does not cost that much money. I say that all the time. I've said it before. I've said it all the time. Both of my grandparents are teachers on my dad's side. So they told me about the profession. I know it didn't take that much. I'm not saying teachers shouldn't get paid well, especially good teachers, but I'm talking about the end result. If you want kids to learn more, to perform better, it starts at home. This is why they say the quote unquote school to prison pipeline, because here's what had happened. And then I'm going to get to another video that kind of dives deeper into it. Here's what had happened. You got black kid, white kid, same class, same teacher. White kid will do better than the black kid. Black kid may start misbehaving, and then by the time they get to be 15, they already got locked up. Is it because of racism? Is it because the black kids are in the school to prison pipeline? Is that what it is? Or is it because of the home life? Okay, black kid, no dad in the house, mom barely there, mom's out in the street doing whatever she doing. Okay, she in the club 5 nights a week. Grandma is old, can't really do too much. She might be in the club too, she not old. Who's raising the kid? The streets. So the kid will come to school at 5, 6 years old, no skills, no ability to read, color, write, draw, nothing. He can't do anything. Meanwhile, the white kid, not all the time, I'm just saying in the instance where this kind of dynamic happens, but not all the time, because in my case, I was like the white kid. White kid, first of all, my parents were together when I was a kid. They got divorced later. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for a while. She would do flashcards with me. I'm in front of Sesame Street and things of this nature. I'm being educated at an early age. My grandparents are teachers, and they're teaching me as a kid. So by the time I got to be in kindergarten, I was already head of the class. Getting straight A's for me was nothing. I enjoyed reading. I enjoyed learning. I had a bookcase full of books. You go to the average black kid's house, it's no books in the house at all. No books at all. Nothing. In my room, when I was 6 years old, I had a full bookcase of books. I had fiction, nonfiction, all that kind of stuff. I was reading on an advanced level at an early age. The reason why I have glasses is because I was always face deep in the book, and I became nearsighted at age 8. Okay, this is why a lot of the Asian kids and the Jewish kids also have glasses at an early age. The same reason. So it's a cultural difference that I did not have, that I wasn't part of. Right? That's why that happens. So you can give teachers more money, but if you don't fix that problem, you're not going to fix anything. But then there's the behavior problem. That's the bigger issue. Because if, like, let's say I come to class to learn. A lot of my classmates are just like me, black, white, Puerto Rican, Canadian, straight. They all come to learn. But let's say these bad kids over here don't care about learning. They care about disrupting. And they have nobody at home to give them any kind of home training. There's nothing there for them to really, there's nothing there for them to hang their hat on. They're just kind of out here just doing whatever. Now, here's that perspective. Let's check this out. This is kind of a long video, so I won't play the entire thing.
I'm having a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack. I started having nosebleeds. I never had a nosebleed.
And I just felt like everything was choking. I was like, what's going on?
I had increased anxiety medicine, depression medicine.
And the doctor came in, he goes, are you under a lot of stress? And I'm like, no. He goes, what do you do? I go, I'm a teacher. He goes, yes, you are.
These are the stories of 6 North Texas teachers.
We represent different grade levels. We represent different ISDs.
They do have one thing in common. They all recently quit.
It takes a toll.
I could not do it anymore.
The job can feel like a calling.
Growing up, my mom was a teacher, and in fact, she was my teacher in 1st and 4th grade.
Amy Rodenroth followed her mother's footsteps. Derek Spencer saw the chance to make a difference.
There wasn't many African-American males in elementary.
Myri Ann Gable was inspired.
My high school math teacher. She looked like me. She had poise. She just gave me a chance.
Together, they have a combined 140 years of experience.
Raise your hand if you feel like you made a difference in kids' lives.
So stepping away wasn't exactly easy.
I mean, I can't do that anymore, but that's where...
One thing about what's happening here is that I think all these teachers quit. And the title of this video says, why are Texas teachers quitting in record numbers? So my man in the first video was talking about his ideal teacher, but you got to be able to retain teachers. Okay. And at a certain point, even if they're making all the money in the world, it won't make a difference. And Baltimore, somebody mentioned Baltimore, they make a lot of money. Baltimore is one of the most well-funded school districts in the country, but yet and still the kids can't read. So the administrators and the teachers do pretty well salary-wise, but the kids don't do well.
Where my heart is.
And I just cried because I thought, that's my last group of kids.
The Texas Education Agency reports more than 13% of the state's teachers, nearly 50,000 of them, left the profession last year, the highest
13%.
number on record. There's more than just one reason, this group told us, for the exodus. But a good starting point is the money, or better said, the lack of it.
And I know I didn't get into it for the money. I know I didn't get into education for the money. But I sure thought it would be a lot easier than having to hold down a couple of jobs to maintain.
The average starting salary for a teacher in Texas is just over $45,000. As they gain experience, salaries increase, but not by much. Veteran Texas teachers make on average just $20,000 more than novices.
I've talked to my ex-students who are graduating and who are going into college, and they're like, I go, so what are you going to do? Well, I would be a teacher, but the main things that are the drawbacks, money, they can't survive. They can't survive on what they're getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, I see that point, but one of the main things is the behavior. I'm going to kind of skip ahead a little bit to that because that's really the most important thing. Let's keep on going.
If your time and energy, not just during the school day, but after the school day, on the weekends, developing plans, making sure that...
I started getting emails.
Like more money for retired teachers.
Possibly. I remember people saying, what are you in college for? I'm like, oh, elementary.
I have literally had people in my face screaming at me for being a teacher and how we're so greedy and we're doing all these horrible things to kids when all I was doing was literally putting aside my life, my family, my friends to give to these kids.
But where is it all coming from?
Is it the district administration? Is it the school board?
They might not have the behavior part on that one. There's one more video I'm gonna play, then I'm gonna keep on moving. They get summers off, yeah, that's true. But still, I mean, the money, you gotta have a balance of, you gotta have all three things kind of come together. The teachers, the parents, and the students. If one of those is not right, it doesn't really matter. You can have great teachers. If the parents don't care, then it's not gonna make a difference. If the students don't care, it won't make a difference. If you have great students and parents with bad teachers, you got to have all three. But sometimes they do year round, but usually it's they get the summers off. 3 months out of the year they get off. And they start at 45. I mean, that's not necessarily a lot of money. It's not bad, but it could be more. It most certainly could be more. But I'm seeing some different comments there. You guys have different comments, different opinions about what's happening. I like to read some of you guys' comments. I'm gonna pull up one video that I think was about the behavior part because that's really important. And then I'll keep on moving. Here we go. This is St. Paul, Minnesota.
You've been a teacher for 25 years in this district. Have you ever seen it this bad?
Never before. Any kid that would have threatened a teacher would have been gone that day. That right now. No questions asked.
Walking off the job weeks ago for what he says has and hasn't happened inside Washington Technology Magnet School in St. Paul, 8th grade math teacher Bruce Ringeman describes a toxic environment, absent, he says, of any real consequences for kids who cause trouble.
When a student can tell the principal to F off, nobody has anything anymore. What I say as a classroom teacher doesn't matter. What the behavioral specialists say in the hallway doesn't matter. What the security guard says doesn't matter. What the social worker says doesn't matter. What the counselor says doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you want to just take your anger out on teachers in St. Paul schools, you're welcome to do that.
So if that's going on, again, what do you if you have a fight club happening in the school and there's nothing being done about it, you can pay a teacher $100,000 a year to do what? To be an MMA fighter? What are they be doing? It's a lot going on. So I think the solution to anybody that is able to do it is private school, a good private school, because even some of the private schools, they got their own issues and it's very expensive. Not everybody can do that. I mean, like I said in my video, I was watching this podcast and the guy was talking about his shopping around for a Montessori school for his daughter. His daughter is 3 years old. Okay, 3 years old, a toddler, right? And they were talking about for the year tuition, I can't even say it. 27, almost $30,000, $27,000 he wanted. They wanted for the year. $27,000 for 1 3-year-old. I mean, that's worse than college. Like, I didn't pay that much for college. You want that for 1 year for a 3-year-old? Now, of course, that's New York, New Jersey, probably like one of the best schools in that particular area. But even on a lower level, you're still paying a lot. I've heard about $5,000 a year for one, $10,000, $15,000 around here where I live in Tennessee. Not even like some really big city. You go to a big city, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, DC, you're going to pay an arm and a leg plus some for a private school just to be able to get beyond all the ridiculousness and all the bad kids and all the woke behavior. You're going to go broke behind that. And then you might be able to do homeschool if you're able to, if you have that ability. But I saw a stat that said the majority of mothers work. About 70 to 80% of mothers in this country work. So when you have a 2-parent household, usually both parents work. So how are you going to have homeschool? How does that really work? It's difficult. All right. But let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got a lot to get through, actually. And I think I want to skip straight to the Migrant Caravan. Did you guys see that video? This was a crazy video. I mean, listen, the Migrant Caravan, this guy, I say put him where Alejandro Mayorkas is, because obviously he knows what's going on. Alejandro Mayorkas, Kamala Harris, anyone who's tasked with the job of securing the border, securing our nation, does not know what they're doing. And if they do know what they're doing, they don't have our best interests at heart. They're flooding the country. I think it's done on purpose. I think they're doing it to get in a bunch of cheap labor because they realize that inflation is ruining this country, ruining the world, and they got all these very high minimum wages. You saw where California, before I get to the migrant caravan leader, you saw where California is raising the minimum wage to $20 an hour. I covered that video. And I also saw another video where they're talking about automation. Well, it wasn't a video, it was a picture. I'm gonna show you that picture right quick. Now, this particular restaurant I'm gonna highlight is not in California, but it doesn't really matter because the same thing is happening all over the country where they're raising the wages artificially through higher minimum wages. They're gonna find ways to combat it. So you see what's happening here. All right, no, I don't want to sign up for your emails, Associated Press, but check it out. New California law raises minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 per hour, among the nation's highest. So this thing is not just happening in California, but all over the country in a lot of these big cities, Chicago, New York, etc. Very high minimum wage. And at a certain point, it's like, okay, if that's the minimum wage for a fast food worker, then how about other people that do not get this gigantic raise? The wage might have been 15 minimum in California. Now it jumps to 20. Well, how about public safety? Your police officers, firefighters, will they get a raise that's similar in proportion? I doubt it. But that's what's happening with your fast food workers at some fast food joints. There's all kinds of stipulations. Oh, it's got to be a restaurant with at least this many locations, this many employees or whatever. But check it out. Here's a solution. All right. Now, you see this right here? This is a picture of a White Castle. And this is a robot that is operating as a fry cook. Literally, you got the robots cooking the food. Because, I mean, how hard is it really? In this case, all you're doing is just dumping the fries in the bucket of grease. And then really, they probably can have a machine change the grease as well. Because all you got to do is just empty the fryer out into a metal bucket, take it outside. It don't really take much. The humans are going to be less and less required the more they keep raising the wages. Now, some are going to say, well, hey, ABL, that's going to happen regardless. Automation is here. But that's a bad way to look at it. That's like going to a very tall building and jumping because everybody got to die one day. Well, I mean, of course, life is finite, but I want to live for as long as possible. I'm not going to end it because I know it's going to come to an end at a certain point. Just like automation. I know that automation at a certain point is going to, it's going to be here and take some of these jobs. But why would I accelerate that by raising the wages so high that I get priced out of the market when it becomes more affordable to purchase a robot over a certain period of years? Like that robot, how much did it cost? 200 grand, 300 grand or whatever. Think about it this way. How much productivity will this robot produce compared to humans or one human? This robot could do the job of 3 to 4 humans, potentially, maybe 2 humans. So how much would 2 humans cost over a 3-year period? Speaking about their wages, including taxes, benefits, workers' compensation, turnover, trying to train new guys. The robot won't get trained any more than what it already does. The robot does not need workman's comp. The robot does not need to have health care benefits. All the robot needs is to be maintained. So those who went to school for robotics or any kind of tech-related thing will be the ones who get paid rather than the low-skilled guys and girls behind you who fought for the $20 an hour. All they did by fighting for 20 was to create more jobs for higher skilled people that's not them. And to replace themselves with robots. It's totally crazy. B. Barrow says they don't talk back. Exactly. Robots ain't going to talk back. Robots ain't going to be in there fighting, throwing their hats in the air, cussing up a storm. They're not going to do all this stuff. They're not going to pull their gun out and shoot at customers as they flee. They're not going to have any kind of behavioral issues. All they're going to do is a task that they get programmed to do. Now, maybe in the future, we have a Matrix situation, Planet of the Apes where the machines take over like the apes did. Whatever, they may do that. But for right now, okay, LR Mate 2000, we're going to put you on the fries, and that's going to be it. It's simple. It's very simple. But let's keep on rolling. Let's get to my man, the leader of the Migrant Caravan. And again, I think that it's being done on purpose with the migrants flooding into the country because they're coming here to do cheap labor. You go to certain places in this country, you go to a hotel, you go to certain restaurants, you go certain places, you're going to see a lot of these people working there. And it's not necessarily because Americans don't want to do it. It's because they can take advantage of them and pay them rock bottom prices. So America, like I said, the whole idea here is we have these very high prices, very high wages. We got to find a way to undercut it and to not go broke so quickly. Let's keep on going. Let's play this.
Now, the Biden administration has been, in a way, completely incompetent with immigration policies that they are portrayed to be human, but they're completely on the opposite, on the contrast. They're inhuman of what is happening right now in South America, Central America, and in the northern borders. Your perception about that?
I believe that the Biden administration has dropped the ball. Immigration, a lot of the countries are fueling are actually this crisis. Immigration crisis is not a crisis that is about. It is a lot of the people are being harsh conditions, but a lot of the countries are fueling this immigration by providing, in a way, transporting people, letting people in and using them as a way to all the people that are working with Lopez Obrador to make sure that a lot of this immigration goes straight into the United States.
Do you think that immigration is being weaponized?
Definitely is being weaponized against the United States, against the Joe Biden administration. Joe Biden administration has lost the ball, has lost the power, and America has not been paying attention to what's happening. Mexico is being usually ganging up with all the countries to make sure that all this immigration goes straight into the United States, and that's what it is. I mean, I went through the Darien, I went to, since Panama, I was close to 7,000, and all these people went through, and after that, every country has been just providing the rights, charging them $20, $30, or $40, and then just pushing them in.
Let's pause right here. So you said he came all the way from the Darien Gap. So you're talking about the space in between Colombia and Panama. So you came from the Darien all the way up to Mexico at the border. Basically, that's the journey that he's taking the caravan on. He had 7,000 people, and you can't just go from the Darien Gap, Panama to Mexico directly. You got to go through other countries. You're going to encounter possibly Guatemala, Honduras, Chile, Belize, possibly Nicaragua, Salvador. You're going to encounter all those countries on the way there. And they have their own immigration systems. They have their own border wall. They have their own police patrol, their own military. And each country was facilitating the flow of these people to America because of a couple of things. First, they don't want them to just stay right there. And the migrants don't want to stay right there. And then they're able to make money off of it. If the rides are $20, $30, $40 a piece, and you got 7,000 people, and this is an all-day, everyday occurrence, you got big money to make. Not only for the cartelos, but also for the local governments, the police, whoever, random coyotes, whoever's providing the rides, whoever is facilitating the flow of these people, they all make money on it. So these migrants get to come to America and loot the remainder of the American empire, basically. That's what's happening right now. They're coming to the country. We got a weak administration. We look real weak to the world. So the border's open. They're coming here to just pillage. And the countries that are facilitating it are pillaging in their own way because they are allowing them to come in. They have no resistance. They are able to make money off of these people who then come to America. And what would happen is this. Here's what could happen. And then I'm going to get back to my man. You have a migrant caravan that comes in through Darien, Gap, Panama, Colombia to the U.S.-Mexico border. They get into the country, no problem. They go to Chicago, New York, L.A., etc. They make money here doing random jobs under the table, send it right back to their country of origin, and then when they get the money stacked up that was sent to them from people that are in America illegally, they come as well. They take that money that was given to them by their illegal family members and friends in the U.S., and then they facilitate their own journey. And that's how it works. And they come from the entire world. And one thing about normies, they don't understand that people who don't live in America have television. They watch the news. They know about politics. They have no idea. They think that anybody that don't live in America is third world, backwater. They in Africa got flies on their face. They don't know anything to live in the cave. It's like you got to escape the matrix. You got to understand the world is bigger than America. People outside of America understand what's happening. Everybody knows. The whole world knows. Many of us don't know because we're told to just tune all that out. Hey, you got college football on Saturday, watch that. You got your movies, watch that. You got your Netflix and whatnot, you got your ice cream and you got your food, get fat, watch that. Don't worry about the whole world and what's happening around you. Don't worry about it. Don't watch the news. I've heard people say, I don't like watching the news because I don't like feeling anxiety. It's like, you got to know what's going on around you. People have no idea of the world around them, but I digress.
All the way to the Mexican border. Then when you get to the Mexican borders, you don't have the mass deportation. All they do is just hold them up and weaponize them and let them go. And make sure that the Joe Biden gives them money. As an American citizen, I would say do not give Mexico or any of those countries that are completely responsible with immigration, given 0 cents. And the Joe Biden administration has lost the ball. Does not know what to do with immigration, has been busy another thing, and has lost a lot of the power, or hasn't even called the countries into sitting down and make sure that he finds a way to stop this immigration, this bleeding. He has lost the ball. He's not doing anything. And I am a human rights defender for almost 70 years, and I tell you, I never seen it worse. And it's not because this is not normal. This is being used by the countries to make sure they get what they want from the United States. And Joe Biden has lost. I'm completely stunned. Where's the American intelligence? Don't they know that all the countries are conspiring against the United States?
Look, the government knows what's going on. The government knows full well what's going on. You're asking the right question, but to the wrong people. You should be asking, where are the American people? We don't know what's going on. You guys who are watching me, you know what's happening with the border. The average normie in America has no idea what's happening. If you ask the average normie about the border, they'll say they're from Mexico and they're poor. That's what they'll say. They'll say they're from Mexico, they're poor, and they don't know anything. They want a better life. I lie to you. Ask the average person just walking around mouth breathing about the border. They'll say that because they're ignorant. They don't know what's going on. This is by design. So he's asking the right question, but to the wrong people. The government know full well what's happening, but we don't. And that's the issue. That's why the government can just do this, and it's not really a problem.
To make sure they have this crisis being made so they can charge for that crisis, they make the baby, now they're trying to sell it.
And now the ones that are benefiting out of this humanitarian crisis, because it looks like it's a business city, from South America, from outside of the Darien, people are making money out of migrants.
Definitely.
And not only that, the cartels are the first ones that they are making a lot of money about the migrants.
There were 7,000 people on one day before the Darien, which is one of the places in Colombia. Do you think Petro is really care about the United States when this makes in one day 7,000 people paying 500, 300, 800? Of course, he makes more money with the cartels, the cartel de Sinaloa, than all the power the United States might give him. He doesn't care about. He doesn't care what the United States think. He's conspiring with the United States, Mexico, to make sure that the United States gave him 60,000 millions once. I don't know how many millions Obrador was trying to charge the United States, but definitely it's not.
Now, Obrador is the president of Mexico. Lopez Obrador.
Humane what they're doing, because they're charging that blood, that suffering of the migrants. They're trying to sell it to the United States when the United States has lost the ball. Definitely, Joe Biden has a lot to learn. I think the policies of Joe Biden are worse than the ones of Trump, because Trump at least knew what to say to make sure that he doesn't fuel immigration. He didn't lose the ball that they're all the countries. The United States has lost the respect of all the countries. Obrador has more power to pull them in and make sure he gets what he wants from the United States.
So that's what's happening. Again, that guy was a migrant caravan leader. They came from Darien, Panama, the Darien Gap in between Panama and Colombia. I'm gonna show you a map. Okay, let me just do this. This is probably the best way to go about it right here. All right. Give me a second, and let me just do this the way I want to do it without all this extra stuff on it. Matter of fact, we could do it this way. That'll work. Yeah. All right. So here we go. So you see Panama right here, right? Panama. And then you got Colombia right here. So where this little line is right here, this area, that's a Darien Gap. It's like a jungle. It's a whole lot going on. Just really crazy terrain. And then, so you got to come through here. You got Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, maybe possibly Salvador, Guatemala. Maybe you go through Belize. And Mexico, you got to go all the way up here, all the way through here. That journey, that's a pretty far journey. Now look at it compared to the United States. How far, like let's say El Paso, Texas, right here, right? El Paso, Texas, right here, down to the Darien. That's a far distance. In order to make that happen, you got to have people that cooperate with you. It can't just be, all right, well, I'm gonna just walk and I'm gonna just go. You got to have all those countries cooperate with you. They got to just let thousands of people in. You got to, and they're getting paid to facilitate you. They're getting paid to just bring you in. That's how it works. That's how it goes. How many days is that? It's hard to tell. It depends if they're able to get a ride on the train or a bus or however they get there. It might take quite a long time. Yeah, it's a long way to get there in several countries. Okay, and then let's not even talk about if they came from, like, I don't know, China. Okay, how you come from Beijing, Shanghai, on the east coast of China? How you come from there all the way across the Pacific to Mexico? How did you get there? Or let's say you came from West Africa, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Senegal. Senegal's over here. How you get from Senegal to Mexico? It was funny when people talking about, how did the Haitians get to Mexico? It's like, really? You don't understand? People travel and they can get on a plane or a boat. They're not just walking across. See, that's how I knew at that moment people didn't have any idea what was happening with the border. They think it's all just Mexicans walking across. They have no idea. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Somebody said Uber water, hilarious. Hilarious. You walking from Haiti, walking from Cuba, all right? Ridiculous stuff. Swimming, get in the water and swimming from China through across the Pacific Ocean. Man, please, you be dead in a day. Anyway, let's keep on moving here. We got quite a bit to get through. Now, to lighten the mood a little bit, DoorDash. Do you guys tip? Like, how do you feel about tipping? The tipping culture has gotten out of control. DoorDash, they're talking about, hey man, look, if you don't tip, your order might not necessarily get to you, or it may not get to you in a timely fashion. Now, this is part of the reason why I don't like these services, DoorDash, places like that. I've never used it. I'm not really a fan. DoorDash, Uber Eats, not my thing. Yeah, I'm not really. I will tip at a restaurant where you get service. I will also tip. I will also tip at a place where I go a lot because they recognize me. But beyond that, I'm good. If I go to a place once a week or once every 2 weeks, they'll recognize me. They'll see me coming in the door. I'm very noticeable. I'm a tall guy. I don't look like a regular. They're going to notice me. They know my voice. They know what it is. And at a certain point, it don't matter who you are. If you go there long enough, they're going to recognize you. And you want to make a good impression. At least I do. So I'll tip if I pick up food from a place. But I don't like having my food delivered. I don't like having my food delivered. I don't want you, like, let's say, for example, let's say I get a beef fried rice delivered to me. Now, I would never do that, but let's just say, for example, I got a beef fried rice. Now, you could easily take a scoop of the beef fried rice, put it in your mouth and eat it, and then you could read some of my little, my to-go box. You can read some of the to-go box to make it appear like it was not tampered with, okay? You get your little fork, and you could just scoop, all right? You get your little fork, you could scoop out of the beef fried rice, take a bite of that, and then I want to know the difference. I'm not trying to have you put your dirty fork or your hands in my food and touch it any kind of way. I'm good on that. What I'm going to do is go straight to the restaurant and pick it up. Now, somebody could say, well, hey, ABL, they could do that to your food in the back of the house. I understand that. But what I know about the restaurant industry from being in there for many years, I know that if you treat people well in the restaurant, that would never be a problem. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm saying you would never worry about that at all. And all my years of being in the restaurant, I never saw anybody do anything to food. I saw one time it was an accident that happened, but it wasn't that bad. My man had a brisket, a whole brisket. He was trying to put it in the sham. You know, like they put that in the, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically he was preparing the brisket to go out on the bar to get cut. Y'all seen them old Crunchy Buffet commercials where they cut in the brisket? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me show you that, and then I'm going to keep on moving. But he was putting that in the thing to go out on the line. But as he was carrying it, he dropped it on the floor. Like, it went face first on the ground, the whole brisket. So what he did was, rather than throwing the whole brisket away, it was brand new, fresh out the thing. He just cut the part that fell and put it in the sham. That's the only time I saw something like that. But it wasn't bad, though, because literally the part that hit the ground, he cut a nice big chunk of the entire thing. So let's say the brisket was like this, right? He cut probably about 1/8 of the brisket off on the bottom where it hit the ground. So it wasn't too bad. But I've never seen anybody do anything to food that they shouldn't do just because they got mad or something like that. All right. Now, extra ill, why are you going to hood restaurants? Like, what are we doing? What restaurant are you going to in the hood? Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles? I mean, look, I'm not going to no hood restaurant because I'm not trying to get deleted outside the restaurant. I'm not trying to be like P&B Rock, RIP, and get lined up outside. I don't want to get deleted over some chicken and waffles. That ain't really what I'm in for. So I'm not going to a hood restaurant at all, regardless of their food practices. I'm not trying to lose my life. That's the easy way to avoid that. Don't even go to the hood. You know, I saw, you guys may have seen the story about Keith Lee, the influencer, the food influencer. He does really good stuff. He goes to restaurants all over the country. A lot of them are black owned, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really into TikTok like that, but he does food reviews of restaurants he goes to. And a lot of times when he goes to the restaurant is helped out a lot afterwards. They get really, they blow after that. They become very popular, very successful after he gives a good review. It goes viral. He does very good. Now he goes to Atlanta and he says he had a lot of problems, couldn't get the food on time, really long wait times, hour and a half, all this, that, and the third. I'm like, look, the solution is to not go to these restaurants that's kind of rinky-dink, ragtag, in the hood. That's going to be a red flag right there. If I'm going to a nice restaurant that I know of, they got good management in a good area, I'm not really worried about it. Okay? If you got guys that smoke crack for a living in the back of the house cooking your food, then you might have some issues going on, right? You go to Waffle House or whatever the case, hey, man, you might see them in the back fighting, or you may see them out back smoking crack. You never know what's going on. If that's happening, I'm not trying to get to food. Uber Eats or no Uber Eats, I'm good on that. I am good on that. Yeah. But hey, I'm not saying all hood spots have bad food. I'm seeing some of the comments. I'm not saying all hood spots have bad food. You can find some really good food in the hood. But as a general rule, when it's kind of a spot that's dangerous, I don't want to be, not because it's going to be bad food, but because my life is at jeopardy. If I don't really mind ducking bullets for a good restaurant, then it's all good. But personally, I don't like dodging bullets. My name is not Clark Kent, Superman, or anything like that. I'm not the Flash. I cannot just dodge a bullet and catch it and throw it off. That ain't going to happen. But yeah, back to DoorDash. I mean, I think that I don't like the service. I don't like DoorDash, Uber Eats. I don't use it. I don't like having my food delivered. I also don't like having my groceries delivered. I never use these services. I am that guy that will order a pizza and pick it up. I don't like having my food delivered. I don't mind doing a carry-out order from a restaurant. That's totally fine. I have no problem with that. And I would usually tip a little bit on that because they're going to see me probably more than once if I live in the area and I frequent the place. But beyond that, this kind of thing, I wouldn't even use it at all, let alone tip. But if I did use it, I would tip. Most certainly. But I think they probably should pay their people more because I've seen too many videos of people not getting the tip that they wanted or getting a low amount, throwing the food on the ground. And now it's dangerous because who are these people who are the Door Dashers? You got random guys. I was watching the podcast again. Rapper Vince Staples is talking about Uber Eats and he doesn't really use it because he's like, hey, I live in California. I'm not trying to use these apps to have food brought to my house. And on the app, it'll say that Susie is delivering my food. But then when the vehicle pulls up, it's 4 adult black males in the Toyota Prius. I'm not trying to have that kind of problem on my back. I'm not trying to have that problem. You see 4 adult males in the sedan, get your gun because it might get a little tricky. It might get tricky. You got 4 adult males, young 20s, man, please. I'm getting my rifle ready. I'm not saying I'm going to use it, but it's going to be close because it might get weird. It might get weird. So yeah, I don't want to have everybody with my address, random people. Bad enough, UPS, FedEx has it. Bad enough, you might have to call a delivery service for like an appliance or something like that, a refrigerator. I mean, you can't bring everything from the store with you. Like if I need something installed from Home Depot, some carpet or something, I can't necessarily just get my truck and bring carpet. Okay, you guys can bring that. But if I'm going to get a tape measure, I can go to the store and get that myself. I don't need to actually have you bring a tape measure to my house. That's a little bit too much. All right. So that's what that is. But let's keep on going. Did I find that video, Old Country Buffet? I almost forgot about that. Yeah, the carving station. Yeah, matter of fact, the music, please ignore the music. But that right there, this is exactly what my man had dropped. It was that right there. He had one of those full, just like this, and he was bringing it to the sham. It's like a little door device. Like when you at the bar, like right here, right behind this is the sham. It's like a refrigerator type thing. You open the sham up, and it'll be food inside that's like being warmed still. And then you take the food from the sham, put it right there on the bar. and put it right there on the block, and the block has holes in it, so the juice, the au jus or whatever, can drip from the brisket, and it's good. And then they would just dip from the au jus right there with the ladle.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Give me that.
Did you catch a game last night? Is it still hot out there?
Now, we did not do all this, and I've never seen nobody talk about the game, all that kind of stuff at the carving station. All they're gonna do is just carve it, and then that'll be it. All this conversation is really weird, and the music is like, who made this video? They had something else in mind, but I digress.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Okay, that's quite enough. That is quite enough. But yeah, that's what we did back in the day. One of those whole things fell, and what he did, he just cut. I'm gonna show you where he cut, like right there. You see with my mouse, he cut that piece at the bottom, because that's the way it fell. It fell straight like that on the ground. You cut the piece right there at the bottom, put it right in the sham, and it was good to go. All right, so yeah, R.I.P. Old Country Buffet. That was a spot back in the day. But then Golden Corral came in. They started doing steak on Thursdays, just all kind of random stuff they were doing. It was a wrap, man. OCB could not compete, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on. All right, let's keep rocking. Yeah, the vid does look like it's on the 80s for sure. All right, now where are we gonna go next? We got quite a few things here. There's more videos I'm gonna show you guys. But if you like what you're hearing so far tonight, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Oh yeah, I remember. Morris Cafeteria. What else? Morris's Cafeteria. Piccadilly was another one. Yeah, old school. Old school. Oh, you guys may have seen this, and I cannot show the video here on YouTube, because they're definitely going to flag me for this. But you guys may have seen this. Now, I'm going to explain what happened. Matter of fact, hold on. I might be able to play some of the video, but I can't actually play the video, if you understand. So what happened was there was an argument in Brooklyn. I think it was Brooklyn. Yeah, it was an argument in Brooklyn over a noise complaint. And the argument ended with one of the neighbors who complained about the noise deleting two people, stepfather and stepson. And the suspect, got deleted himself this morning by NYPD in a confrontation. So this guy was just bound. He was just like, you know what? I'm busting my gun. I don't care. It is what it is. So I'm going to play some of this, but then once the gun comes out, I'm going to stop it, all right? And then I'm going to show you the other frame. So there's no sound. But my man right here has a pair of scissors, I think, and he's like threatening him with it. I'm not sure what that is. So now, at this moment, if you use a weapon to defend yourself, maybe you're justified. Maybe you're justified because you got the scissors right there to his neck. At that moment, maybe. Okay. So here comes the wife or the old lady or somebody trying to pull him away. And he's steadily going at him. And then here comes the pistol. Here comes the pistol. And then as he's walking away, he fires and kills him. Another guy, the stepson, is trying to come this way. So you see these stairs. The stepson comes from out of the frame and tries to go to the stairs, and then he hits him as well. So yeah, it got pretty gruesome. It got pretty gruesome. And again, the guy that did that shot both of them, got deleted by himself by the police. All right. And this is the moment where he hit him. So again, I can't play the video because we're on YouTube. Obviously, they're going to flag me to death. But that's the moment where he hit him. And then his stepson also got hit multiple times. And then it wasn't just as he's walking away. he walked up on him because he was trying to go to the door where he came out of. He was trying to go back to the door he came out of, but the guy hit him in the head one time, point blank. I don't know what and again, this was all over allegedly a noise complaint. That's all it was. Now, if you are a Second Amendment person, obviously that's the wrong way to use your weapon, obviously. And the moment where he had the scissors to him, like right here, maybe at that point, because you got a weapon on me, you're threatening to cut me, to hurt me badly, maybe. But as person is retreating and not a threat anymore, you can't fire a weapon at that point. You just can't do it. All right? So, yeah. A noise complaint, I mean, I'm not trying to, and really, truthfully, I'm not trying to confront you over a noise complaint in Brooklyn where it might get a little bit squirrely. I ain't really trying to do that anyway because I know it might be some gunplay involved. I know it might be a little bit dangerous. But that's the kind of environment you live in when you're living in these areas. Okay? Somebody said he was big mad. Yeah, he was big mad. He was most certainly big mad. Now he's big deleted. So, but RIP to all them. You got 3 lives taken. The guy who killed the 2 people and then the guy who got deleted himself. Now I done said the K word. You're going to have the Google moderator team in here. That's why I say deleted. And what else I say? Prawn. Because when I say the other words, then they wouldn't be on my back like white on rice. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Taylor says, ABL, have you heard about the New York City congestion toll? I've not heard about that. So is that like what they have in London where you got to pay a certain amount of money just to be on the road at a certain time? I've not heard of it, but maybe that's similar to what it is. See, that these big cities I can't deal with. It's just too much. I like to be in a smaller city with some action happening, but not to the point where it's just too much. A congestion. If I got to pay a congestion fee, I'm not really with it. Put it to you this way. I like cities where I can still park my F-150. If I can park my truck, then I'm good. If I can't park my truck or everywhere I go, it's valet only. You got these little teeny parking garages. I can't get my vehicle in there. I got to do all kind of crazy 3-point turns and all kind of steering wheel motions. And I'm like trying to duck in the ceiling in the garage. I'm like, that's too much. Way too much. Somebody says a climate crisis tax. Hey, you never know. Let's keep on going here. Rice. We talking about that say something about rice? I don't know. You guys are talking your own thing here, but we got more going on. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. There is one I wanted to cover. One thing I wanted to cover. Oh, yeah. Debates in school. I almost forgot about that one. Have you guys ever been on a debate team in school? Ever been like in a formal debate with a moderator, a subject, and you got to adhere to the subject? Have you ever done that? I've done that before. I've done it on television. I've done it just in school. I've had classes where I've done things like this. I'm familiar with it. But the way it is now, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, even if you're given the subject. You're given the subject. You're saying, hey, here's the subject, debate it, but then you don't have to really debate it. There's no need to debate it. And the reason why is because you have these judges who have no problem telling you how woke they are. Matter of fact, hold on. I got 2 videos for you guys, and then I got to show you a picture to drive it on home. Now, this young lady is a high school student. She was in a debate, I guess you would say group, but she dropped out because of how woke it is. It's so woke in high school that she had to drop out. Now, let's watch some of this, and then I'm going to show you one of the judges that has made debate very woke. Let's check it out.
High school debate is so incredibly hijacked to the point where now students are completely throwing out the assigned topic at hand to debate what they think is the most important debate in the country. the treatment of trans students in debate rounds. They further this by saying that the point of debate is not to argue. No, it's to make sure that everyone feels safe and okay. They even go on to say that it's sad when students lose debate rounds solely based off of their debating skills and not their identity. One of the students stated that voting for them is joining the protests. I know who I'm not voting for.
So that's what's happening. Now, one more video, and then I'm going to show you what's happening with one of the judges.
The National Speech and Debate Association's Diversity and Equity Director is a public racist. And it's really no surprise because our DEI program has always been set out to make certain races feel inferior. I'm done with this Marxist organization.
Actually, there's one more. That wasn't the right one, but that's also relevant. But here's a video in question. And her name is Brianna Watley, a high school student. She is or was in debate, but left because of how woke it is. I'm going to show one more video, then I'm going to show the judge that she's speaking about.
Imagine that you're a high school debater and you're walking into your debate round to find out that Lila Lavender, a self-proclaimed Marxist-Leninist Maoist, is judging you, who openly stated that she would never let a student win if they made an argument defending Israel or capitalism. That's a reality for many students because the National Speech and Debate Association won't take action. They won't condemn Lila for her bias or barred her from judging students. And so they perpetuate students being judged not on their merit, but how they can confirm their judge's bias.
So the person that she mentioned, Lila Lavender, you guys ready to see Lila Lavender? Yeah, because maybe you saw my video, maybe you didn't see the video, but Lila Lavender, let's take a look at this person right here. All right, now that, ladies and gentlemen, is Lila Lavender. Now, do you see something a little bit different about this person? Okay, now imagine you're in high school and this person, she, her, is a judge or your debate moderator. What, like, you know, automatically, and this person already said, hey, I'm biased. If you talk about this, I'm going to judge against you. You see what I'm saying? I mean, what in the world's going on? What in the Tommy Lee is going on? What in the 5 o'clock shadow, time to shave? What in the you need some Barbasol is going on here? That's going to be your judge right there. Imagine being 15 years old, going into your debate round, and then that person shows up. What are you going to do? You toast. You pretty much got to say whatever they want you to say or you're going to lose. So your alternative would be just go ahead and drop out. Go ahead and drop out. Not of school, but drop out of debate because obviously you'd have no chance. See, this is why I keep talking about the LGBT and the trans because they've infiltrated everything. They are in everything. This is in high school. High school. Okay. So what do you do? Lila Lavender. Lila, that beard does not exude a lavender or a Lila. It exudes a mechanic named Frank. It exudes a pack of Newport. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But that's what's going on right now. Now I'm gonna play some of the debate she was talking about where it got really woke. Now their debate topic was the IMF, International Monetary Fund, right? That was a debate topic. But they decided to refuse the debate topic and talk about something else altogether. Talking about trans students in debate. They started the debate with a clip of an old AIDS commercial from the 80s, and then they got into their diatribe.
Thousands of demonstrators demand that New York City do more to help those suffering from AIDS. Resistance took the form of non-cooperation. Demonstrators had to be dragged to paddy wagons, many shouting as they were carried away. Do you think you really accomplished a great deal?
Yes, I think we do. What else can we do? I've done everything. I've called everybody. I got appointments with everybody. I've got to come to City Hall and state my case. We're dying. The city is dying.
I don't know that man's name, but I know a little of the hopelessness and the horrible sinking fear in his voice. Here's how I prepped for the TOC. I woke up a week before and learned that 28 instead of 27 states wanted to kill me.
So I don't got to play the whole thing, but this person, these people up here in the top left, I guess they're transgender. And high school, remember, these are kids, high school, under 18, minors, talking about this kind of stuff. And again, the debate topic was the IMF, not transgender. All they did was give a speech about being transgender during debates. And then that was totally fine. It wasn't even the deal. It wasn't even a big deal. Why would you even participate in something like that? For what? For what reason? Why? I will go ahead and just drop out of that as well. I'll be like, you know what? I'm good. Y'all got it. Like, let's say I go out for basketball, right? I'm here to play basketball, and then they ain't here playing tennis. It's like, well, I thought we were playing basketball. Now we want to play tennis because that's more gender inclusive. All right, y'all got it. Don't even worry about it. I'm taking my ball and going home, literally. Taking the ball, going home. All right. Yeah, apparently, Joe Brandon, Zimzer said that someone wants to delete her Zimzer Zed. Apparently, but again, this is what happens when they're brainwashed from a young age. They're brainwashing to believe in the LGBT stuff, and they don't know anything else. So then when they get to high school, college, and beyond, they're going to echo that same sentiment. Now, sometimes they're able to wake up out of it, but too often they don't. And that's why we have the Lila Lavenders of the world. Okay? That's what happens. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Blind leading the blind. That's right. Blind leading the blind. That's what it is. All day long. Let's keep on going here. There is more. Oh, now the Colorado, the almost Colorado mass shooting. Now that was a crazy story. I mean, what in the world? People always talk about MK Ultra and mind control and these people that are just kind of put out there by some force to do certain things. Stories like this don't make me think that that's true necessarily, but I just have questions. Okay, so you guys saw the story. This guy went to a Colorado amusement park on the mountaintop. He drove there in his vehicle using a service road. Normally, you got to use a gondola to get up there, but he drove up using a service road, and he was able to get into the park before it opened. Question, how'd you do that? You were heavily armed and got into the park before it opened. Is the park not locked? Is it just open? Is there any kind of security? What's the deal? What's the problem? Don't really know, but anyway. So he gets into the actual park, and he's heavily armed. He has a rifle, a handgun, explosives. This man had IEDs in his vehicle. He had some grenades that were fake and some were real. They said that he had some fake grenades, but then he said he had some real explosives. So I'm not sure if they're using that word interchangeably. If he had fake grenades and real grenades, I don't really know. Doesn't really matter. The point is that he was heavily armed. He also had body armor. He had all that. Now, the authorities say they found him in the women's restroom. Not sure why he was there. And he had deleted himself just with one gunshot to the head, and it was over with. That's what I heard. Now, what happened? They said it was something on the wall that was written, a message scrawled on the wall talking about, I'm not a killer. All I want to do is see the caverns. Really random, really weird. Now, what do you guys think happened? Because what could have happened right there is when the park opened and it began to get full, he could have carried out a mass shooting. That was the plan, most likely. He had a belt with magazines loaded. So if he got his rifle and he's shooting, he could just pop one mag out, another one in, charge it up, keep rocking. But he did not hurt anybody other than himself. So why do you think that happened? How did he get into the actual amusement park? Maybe it's not a whole lot of security up there. It's not like a really big park, I don't think. But I just have questions. Why was he going to do what he did? And there was no prior law enforcement involvement, allegedly. You know, they always say, oh, we didn't know, we had no idea. The guy in Maine that did the 18 people shooting, the authorities came to his house, I believe it was 6 weeks beforehand, because they feared he might commit a mass shooting. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can find that clip, right? Not clip, but the article. They feared he might do that. Now, that's the Maine guy, not the Colorado guy, but the Maine guy. Let me see. So here we go. Again, the Colorado guy, he was 20 years old. They had no idea he was going to do what he did. No mental health problems. He just went and was going to do something like that, but didn't go all the way through because he took himself out before he got to be able to have any kind of contact with others. Could have been a false flag. It did. Hey, I'm not saying it was a false flag. I'm just saying you guys are saying that. I'm just reading, but check it out. Watch this. So here is the Maine situation. Remember, two different ones. The Colorado one, he was ready to do a mass shooting, but did not do it. He took his own life instead. This guy in Maine had went on the mass shooting. The cops were sent to Maine gunman's home weeks before massacres amid concern he is going to snap and commit a mass shooting. So, as always, what they say, he was on our radar every single time, except for the time in Colorado. And that happens to be the one time where he was ready to do a mass shooting but didn't do it. So you got to ask yourself, well, okay, what makes somebody go over the edge and really do it? Is there a particular trigger that gets snapped in someone's brain? How does that really work? I like to know. I think there should be some kind of independent study done on these guys' brains that commit mass shootings, but that's kind of like asking a lot. That's asking a lot. I don't think the federales want us to do a thing like that, because it might be something found in there we shouldn't find. I'm not saying that the federales put something in there. I'm not saying they did that, but what I am saying is we might find a thing that we don't really want to find, or they don't want us to find. Oh yeah, election year. Look, listen, 2024 is going to be crazy. You already know. I knew this year would be crazy, but 24, oh my goodness. Don't let it be somebody get deleted by police. A black male under the age of 35 get deleted by police. Don't let that happen. Oh my goodness. Don't let Michael Brown 2.0, Freddie Gray, George Floyd. Don't let that happen. It'd be a rap. Man, oh man. Is it video games? Nah, not at all. Video games, you know what? In my opinion, video games probably reduces the number of violent incidents, because it's a way for people to have something to do in purpose, because that's a whole different issue right there. I think what happens a lot of times with these mass shooters, just observing the profile of the people that do things like this. You got lonely guys, no purpose, just easily malleable because they have nothing else going on. So they get down, like this guy had a divorce and the girlfriend problems and was a kind of a loner. That's kind of when stuff like that happens. But if you have something to occupy your time, you have hobbies or something that can keep you away from getting into a violent state of mind. Because you can go in a video game and shoot things all day, but you know it's fantasy, it's not reality. But if your reality and fantasy kind of gets confused and you're mentally ill and you got other things going on, now see, you got That's all bad from there. It's all bad from there. And the reason why I know it's a mental thing, because we've seen quite a few of these LGBTQ elemental P people post nightclub. Let's not forget about post nightclub. That probably was one of the worst mass shootings ever in history, and we know what happened there. The Nashville situation. Where's Manifesto, Bill Lee, Cameron Sexton, everybody in Tennessee politics? Chuck Fleischman, where is the manifesto, sirs? Can we get that or nah? Why is the manifesto being hidden? When other mass shootings happen, you pretty much know why immediately. You got a self-deletion note. You got the guy's social media history. The mamas on TV talking about, oh, well, he had problems. But in the case of the Nashville, it's nothing. You got a whole manifesto, might be a whole book of information, and nothing from that. Why? Even if we can't see it for whatever kind of security purpose, tell us why, rather than just not letting us see it. But again, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy theory behind it. I'm just asking questions. That's all. And I think I'm allowed to ask questions. Now, whether I get an answer or not is a different story, but it's a question. All right. It's real simple. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. In Vegas as well, NKM. What happened in Vegas? How did that happen? Can we get answers? Or no? Is that not really a thing we could do anymore? No answers, I suppose. But let's keep on going here. All righty. Was there a post nightclub manifesto? Had no idea. Maybe I've not seen that. Maybe it's been released and I didn't see it. But I knew about his motivation. They said he was LGBT and trying to hide it and all this and that and the third. And people want to blame society, talking about, oh, you couldn't come out because of society. Man, nobody cares if you are LGBT anymore. The problem is when you want to, do drag queen story time and things of that nature. As long as you don't be messing with kids, don't nobody care if you're gay. Just leave the kids alone and don't be no full-grown 6'4" Michael Phelps looking character. Don't be no Deadpool Wolverine looking character going into the women's restroom. That's all we ask. Okay, don't be this big neck beard talking about I'm a woman now. I can go into the girls' locker room. No, you can't, big beard, neck beard. Stay over there with the boys. Don't come in here. That's the problem, not people that just happen to be gay. Because if somebody's gay, that's their personal business. I don't got to know. I have no reason to know what you do behind closed doors. Don't even tell me if you're gay or straight. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just like when I was at a Trump rally some years ago, and if you go to a Trump rally, you're in a line or in the stands, you meet people, and we were there. We met this gay couple, but they did not say one word about being gay at all. Nothing. We just put two and two together, but they were just regular people. They didn't say nothing about what they do behind closed doors. They could have just been brothers or friends. You would not have known the difference. And that's fine. I don't gotta know about what you do behind closed doors. Point blank. But I digress. Oh, ABL, don't ask, don't tell. Listen, your business is your business. Whatever you do, it's whatever. But now when you start to get into the deception and the lying, and now you're trying to play games and you hiding stuff, that's a different story. Living a double life like Barack Obama, that's a different story. Allegedly. Okay? Oh, I'm a family man. Just like your man, who was the guy that almost became the governor of Florida? Gillum. Oh, no, I'm a family man. I'm married. I got 2 kids and a wife. Meanwhile, you over here with these boys in the hotel room shooting drugs on your hind parts. Maybe a guy like that shouldn't be the governor. Maybe some drug raver on the weekend should not be the governor of Florida. Now, if you was want to be a guy working at Winn-Dixie or something like that, pumping gas or whatever the case may be, okay, whatever. Who cares if you want to smoke crack on the weekend? But if you want to be the governor, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. But I digress. When do the clocks change back? It's a good question. I think, November 16, 17, something like that? I don't know. Let me see. Daylight savings time. I ain't ready for that, man, at all. So, oh, wow, that's Sunday. this Sunday. I had no idea it was so soon. So this Sunday, you fall back. The clocks go back an hour. You lose an hour. You gain an hour, right? I'm having a hard time right now. I think you lose. You gain an hour. And in the spring, you lose an hour. Because in the spring, if it's 2 a.m., it becomes 3 a.m. You lost an hour. But now, if it's 2 a.m., it becomes 1 a.m. You gain an hour. But I tell you what, man, whoever invented this whole thing, daylight savings time, needs to get waterboarded. I do not like when it goes forward in the spring. Keep it permanent. Like, don't change it. The hour forward in the spring is terrible, man. Whoever did that needs to get dug up and waterboarded. Real talk. Because that right there wrecks people. Heart attacks, all kind of stuff. I'm good on that. But the hour you gain, that's okay. That's okay. But if I could pick between gaining an hour one time to lose an hour the other time, or not having it change at all, I would say no change at all. That'd be what it is. Yeah, exactly, Janice. Fall back and leave it. Correct. Fall back and leave it. You're right, NKM. Some states don't change it. When I was in Arizona some years back, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, full bright sun. It's like, what in the world is this? It was crazy. And Hawaii, of course, that's like an island, middle of nowhere. It's different. Yeah. And then in some places, it gets darker at certain like if you're in certain parts of the Eastern time zone, it's going to be darker at different times. If that makes any sense. Like the further out west you are in Eastern time zone, is the time that the sunset's different, obviously. All right. But anyway, Reckless Conduct says it'll be dark at 4 p.m. in Maine. It'll probably be dark here at about 5:30-ish, maybe. Something like that. Maybe 6. I'm not quite sure. But Maine, obviously, much further east than I am over here in Tennessee. And really where I live, I'm not far from Central Time Zone. If I go to, going to Nashville, you're in Central Time Zone. And once you get to like Mount Eagle, this big mountain, about 45 minutes away, you be in Central Time Zone at that point. So I'm right on the edge of Eastern and Central. Matter of fact, once you get to Alabama, which is not far from me, you're in Central. But anyway. Oh, and also, if you live in El Paso, Texas, El Paso has the same time zone as New Mexico, but not the rest of Texas. It's weird. And El Paso, this little piece at the end of Texas, that's in the same, I guess that's what, the mountain time zone as New Mexico, because it's like right there in the same region. El Paso basically is New Mexico, but it's in Texas, theoretically. Let's keep on going. We got super chats on deck. Then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And shout out to Angie Warren, who says, hello, ABL and friends. Michael Critchlow, thank you for your super chat, says, are we going to watch Flavor Flav sing the national anthem tonight? Should Jill Scott be embarrassed that a member of Public Enemy showed up from America? You know what? Let's watch Flavor Flav sing the national anthem. And you know what? I'm gonna say possibly a controversial point. He didn't do that bad, in my opinion. I'll tell you who did bad was an actual singer, and that's Fergie. If you're going to compare Flavor Flav to Fergie, I'm going to say Flav gets the upper hand. And Flav is not a singer. I'll tell you what Flav is, though. He's a classically trained musician. He plays the piano beautifully and other instruments. I'm gonna show you guys Flavor Flav playing the piano, possibly other instruments. I think like the violin or something. Like these guys in rap are like they're not what you think they are. Hold on. It said he plays 15 instruments. Hold on. So let's watch this.
Be sure to like. Be
there he is in the drums.
Sure to like.
You and your right now. My guy gotta get out of here. I don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me.
Here we go.
I'm rackets right now. I can't get out of how. Ooh, yes, I'm ready, but it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Flav, let's go ahead. Let's give him a piece of me now. Let's give him some of the album, Flav. Here we go. Ready? Here you go. I'm ready for it. Okay, here we go. This is like, if y'all remember Madison Square Garden with me, y'all can remember this. This is called Take Me Away. I gotta get out. Yeah. It's payday for all you guys that wanna go to the club.
So you see Flav playing the piano. He's not even really doing everything. He's not really going hard on the piano right now, but he can play the piano. He can play a lot of instruments. As a child, he was a musical prodigy as a child. For real. I'm not even making it up. He was a musical prodigy. You see the yeah boy, all that kind of clown stuff, but really Flavor Flav was the most talented in the group musically. The rap thing was just him playing around. Now, let's see my man singing the national anthem. All right. Hold on. You guys are you guys doubting Flavor Flav? So now I gotta show him really playing the piano. Hold on. Let me just find it right quick. I proved the point. I ain't got to be here all day showing Flavor Flav playing the piano, but let's see him sing, and then I move on to the calls.
The singing of the Star Spangled Banner performed tonight by 6-time Grammy Award nominated rapper and artist Flavor Flav.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Hi, Boy Scouts.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
It's kind of long. I ain't gonna play the whole thing. I know you guys want to hear the entire anthem, but it's kind of long. It's like 3 minutes. All right. So what do you guys think? You think Flav can sing? Does he have the range? Does he have the vocals? Is he really doing this thing? Y'all let me know what you think about my man's it's a little flat, but he's all right. Not bad. All right. A few more seconds, then I'm done for real.
Through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watch were so gallant.
All right, there we go. But again, if you really want to see Flavor Flav sing the national anthem, y'all know where to find it. Find it on X, the YouTubes, everywhere else. That's the Milwaukee Bucks, my favorite team right there. Get ready to play. I'm not sure they wouldn't have lost the game, but that's Flavor Flav from Public Enemy singing the national anthem. There you go. So that's Michael Critchlow sending a super chat. I appreciate you for that one, boss. I'll tell you what, now, who sounded better? Was it him or Fergie? I ain't going to play Fergie. Y'all remember Fergie. Who was better? And Fergie is an actual singer. Flav is not a singer. If anything, he was a rapper, but really he was better at playing musical instruments. Again, he was literally, as a child, a musical prodigy playing instruments, not with singing or rapping. Like, different kind of music. Flav would be better in an orchestra rather than behind a microphone, singing or rapping. But anyway, shout out to Angel who says, hey, ABL, when someone says their child is non-binary, I respond, the universe is binary. Light, dark, up, down, hot, cold, forward, reverse. Your computer computes at a binary level. Your child is brainwashed. I don't care about their feelings. Very well said. Couldn't have said it any better myself. So thank you for your super chat, boss. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Monique for the dancing emoji. I appreciate you for that one. Now let's keep on rocking and rolling here. We got calls on deck. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Bina says, don't try and sway the vote, ABL. Speaking about Fergie or Flav. Y'all know Fergie sounded terrible. And Fergie's a real singer. Like, she got paid to sing in Black Eyed Peas. But Flav was not ever a singer. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's keep on rocking. Yeah, I had to cut it off. I know some of you guys were loving the singing. Some guys weren't. So I just went ahead and just, split the difference. Cut it right in the middle. Jill Scott. I've not heard Jill Scott sing the national anthem. Whitney Houston is probably one of the best singers ever. Whitney Houston, I mean, it's hard to top anything that she did. Her national anthem was amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I've seen some really bad ones too. Some terrible ones. Oh, Marvin Gaye, yeah. Hey, you ain't touching Marvin Gaye with the singing. Not at all. All right, let's keep on going. 781, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, my name is Peter. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the public schools education that you were talking about at the beginning.
All righty.
I'm kind of in the system a little bit. I am male. I'm a veteran, and I'm starting college late, and I'm getting my degree in elementary education. And I'm among mostly females that are, just going through high school and college, so in their young 20s. And I'm learning a lot that it's kind of surprising. So one of the things I'm seeing that is a problem that doesn't seem like it's being addressed is a lot of the students that I'm with, we're a little shocked over the amount of expectations that are being taught at the college level that we are expected to just deal with. For instance, they're telling us, you're going to have a lot of kids in your class that don't speak English. It's up to you to learn about their culture, visit their family, go to their house, learn about them to help their child learn English. And you have to deal with the high needs autistic kids, which unfortunately there's so many of them nowadays. And they're putting such a burden on teachers, and the pay's not going up. And they still have to, manage a whole class and make curriculums and do all that work with the added pressure of dealing with English language learners and, high needs kids. It's too much to expect of one person. Like police, they have too much to do, It's asking too much, and it's a big problem, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That's really just a lot going on. And that shouldn't be your burden. There should be a higher position that does something like that. It shouldn't be up to the teachers. You guys should just go in there, teach your plan. It shouldn't be about, go to their house and learn the language, learn the culture. That's just asking way too much.
It is. And people forget that teaching kids information effectively is quite complex. To do it effectively and to be one of those teachers that, kids remember, that's complex and they're rare. That's why, you hear one or, everybody knows one or two teachers that, they were great, and that's rare. And that's what should be encouraged. And it's hard to encourage that when you pay so little for a career that expects so much of you, because dealing with children who are essentially, unable to adapt is very challenging. And since women have to work now, and most of them do, there's no one home with the kids. The kids don't get brought up in the most optimal environment, and the schools are now being required to socialize the children and train them and teach them how to be good and interact. And that's another thing on top of English language learners and high needs kids and regular kids. You got, kids from non-nuclear families, and it's a problem. And now teachers have to do that. And it's almost like it seems like everybody at my school is kind of upset by it and annoyed, but no one says anything, and they just accept it. And they get taught that, and they go into the system, and then they get burnt out and quit. And it's just no good for anybody. It's no good for the kids, parents, families, the country, even.
Exactly.
It's a big problem, and it should be brought up. Like if police officers and firefighters retire in 20 years, and military, as they should, as a veteran, I can agree with that. After that kind of job, you need to retire after 20 years, hell, 15 even. Teachers, it's a similar amount of stress. It's a similar amount of complexity, and it's similarly just as valuable as to society. We need law enforcement. We need firefighters. We need first responders. We need good educators just as much, and it's not emphasized and looked into as much as it should be, I don't think.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, well, it's good to just talk about it. It's good to get out in the open. Maybe more people will talk about it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to me blab.
No problem.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks ABL.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot, man. Putting on somebody's plate, you got to do all that just to do your job. I mean, come on. That's crazy. 513, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, my name is Nicole, and I'm going to piggyback off what that guy just said. He is 100% correct. I have a special needs teenager, and I had to fight to get him out of regular classrooms. Number one, the other kids need to learn, and I need those kids to grow up to be the therapists and the nurses and the doctors and all of that. There's not more special needs kids. We just see them now. And there's another way to look at it. All of us want to be with our like peers, right? Mm-hmm. Sports kids hang out with sports kids. Nerds hang out with nerds. My son's special needs. Guess who he wants to hang out with? His special needs peers. We're not doing them a favor either.
Right, that's true.
He's absolutely right. So, I called in to see about the Maya trial. Are you watching that? Because today was a really big day.
About the what now?
To take care of Maya.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the trial.
Okay, well, her mom was a nurse. She has a rare disease. They took her to Johns Hopkins, right? The nurses didn't like her. They were all white ladies with hair parted in the middle. And they called social workers. They kidnapped that child, kept her in the hospital for 3 months, claiming the mom had Munchausen's. The mom killed herself, but left a note and dropped names. And then 3 days later, the daughter got out. Without her suing for $200 million. But today, the hospital got busted because they're under JACO. So that's the hospitals and the schools and the social workers, they all work together. They have more rights to our children than we do. Like, I should not have had to sue the school district to pull my kid out of general ed.
Right. Absolutely.
So, like, we're dumbing down the regular kids, I mean, can you imagine being in 5th grade trying to take a math test and Johnny's flapping in the corner? I mean, it's just, equality sounds nice, And I think it builds resentment, too.
Yes, it really does. It really does, because that when you're doing things like that aren't the right way to go about it, you're going to have problems.
Yeah, it's not natural, And then, I mean, if you're in 1st grade and you've got 2 special needs kids who don't have to follow the rules and don't have to take the test and can walk out whenever they want, that's confusing to the other kids. Because they're going to be like, why does he get to do it and I don't? And now what we're doing is we're putting kids, boys with energy, behavior, we're putting them on the short bus with the special needs kids. And then you got to look at it with our taxes. We are still funding these county agencies that ran the special needs schools, but they're not the ones teaching the kids. They shoved them all into the public schools, which have plenty of money, but now we're paying public schools to teach, wipe their butts, transport them, when we're still paying the county and the counties aren't doing it. So I think the number one thing that's going to come out of this case is we're going to expose these social workers and we're going to expose these hospitals. Because there's also a case in another hospital in the country where this kid called child services on his parents because they didn't support him being transgender. The hospital called social workers and kept that kid for 30 days and would not let his parents take him home.
Wow. Wait. Like, just say that one more time. So what was the reason why they kept him for 30 days?
Because he said his parents were abusive for not supporting him being wanting to be transgender. And the social workers have immunity. They are an arm of the court. And you can't blame the judges because the judges just go by what the social worker says. But then you got to look deeper into it. The judges, if there's no finding, there's more money that we pump into foster care, way more money. And then we complain about giving, LaQuisha $50 worth of food stamps, or Becky, Section 8.
Yep.
Like, look at where the money goes. Foster care is a $1 billion industry. So we pay money for these special needs kids. Okay, if you do the math, they get waivers, $50,000 a year, but you can never use it. Where is it going? You don't get the waiver if the money's not there. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in every state gone missing. That money, if you pay the tax, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but if you pay that tax, you keep it in the community, and you generate $7 more out of every dollar you spend. So the government's keeping that money, right? Instead of giving it to the families that would be tipping the pizza driver. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then we do the preschool promise, and we're pumping 3-year-olds into public schools, and we already can't bust the 3rd graders into school. Are we going to charge the 3-year-olds with truancy? I mean, I think Antifa are just aged out foster kids,
Yeah.
It's just something to think about. But if you look at the Maya trial, today was huge because JACO is how these hospitals get their public, Medicaid funding and all of that. And they want us to go to specialists, but then they use that against us and say you're doctor shopping. And guess what they're treating pain with? Therapy. We have way too many therapists, way too many specialists, way too many committees and boards and all of that. And I think just today with the trial, they're busted. This trial is way bigger than $200 million. So just something to think about. But that guy before, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
Right on. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Wow. Good calls tonight. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 813, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
And I think this today was the trial.
813, hello.
This trial is way bigger than $200 million.
Parents got to sit up.
813, hello. All right, 813, any other caller? Make sure you have your ear to the phone because there is a delay on the stream. You're not going to be able to talk to me on the stream. It's not going to work. So just talk to me on the phone. Have your ear to the phone and be ready. All righty? Let's keep on going here. Let's go to 786. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I heard you well. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, how you doing? My name is Alex. Nice to get a hold of you. Big fan, been following you since a little bit before the Breonna Taylor incident. It was a couple of years ago, and been watching your videos since. However, I'm calling because I wanted to get your opinion on qualified immunity. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know a lot about it to really make an informed opinion. I know a little bit about it, but I don't know a lot. What I do know is that when you're talking about police officers and they're able to kind of have a special ability that the general public would not have in certain cases.
Well, it's an immunity that protects them against, for example, like lawsuits and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think that I don't know all of it. I don't know exactly what they're immune from, but I think there needs to be some kind of protection for police officers because they have a job that the general public does not have. They got to do things that the public cannot do and does not do typically.
Now, what do you mean? Can you give me like an instance where a cop does something that a regular citizen wouldn't do? What do you mean? I'm not understanding.
Well, a citizen cannot arrest you, bring you to the police station. A citizen.
Well, no.
You see what I'm saying?
No. I understand. But for example, if a citizen sees something wrong, he could make what is called, like, for example, like a citizen's arrest, and then they call the law enforcement and stuff like that. The point what I'm trying to get at is, I think, and I've done some research on it, I think that qualified immunity hurts us more than it protects, in this case, bad cops. If you were just, I know this is kind of like a topic that you don't really deal with, but I've come to learn after studying and seeing so many videos that this qualified immunity it protects the cops even if they're in the wrong. So for example, if you're a citizen journalist that is going to like a public office, for example, like a board of education's office, and you were to, for example, in a really polite manner, start asking questions that the staff may not want to answer, but by law they have to answer. And in some cases, they call law enforcement. Law enforcement comes in and removes that person unlawfully. This person would have to go and then prove to the court and try to eliminate the qualified immunity of that officer. Now, if you're not good with your verbal link or with your verbal judo, or if you're not good with the laws and citing the laws, the chances of you getting the qualified immunity to drop from that officer is really like slim to none. You would have to know the laws and very specific wording to get that qualified immunity. What I'm trying to get at is that the cop that will save your life would be the cop that would violate your rights. And I think the violation of especially the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, those are things that happen on a daily that I really wasn't aware of until maybe like a couple of months ago when I started diving into it. I would suggest to kind of look into it. For example, like First Amendment auditors. These are people that will go into like the boards of educations, post offices, police stations, and they very calmly do audits. And then you could see a lot of the time they get their rights violated. They get arrested. And then those are the same qualified immunity that would protect that one person that is trying to investigate, for example, like the Board of Education, because they're not letting my special needs kids go to like a special class. So I have to go and talk to somebody. And then those are the same cops that would violate you, right? I think if you just look into it a little bit, you will see that this happens on a daily, and it'll kind of open up a perspective where I myself, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I love the cops, but I think there's a lot of cops that will do you wrong, no matter your skin color or religion or anything like that. They would violate your rights. But the thing is, if you don't know your rights, you're not knowing that they're violating it. So it's very important for the citizens to know your rights, know the Constitution. And I was just made aware of this by watching like First Amendment auditors.
Got you, man. Right on. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate it.
Well, Thank you so much for your time. You have a blessed day.
Same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. My fault, I didn't hang up on him like that quickly. But shout out to him. I mean, that's not a subject I'm really familiar with all the way. So you guys may know more about that than me. But I'm just kind of lost about why the police need to be targeted specifically. If there's something that's wrong that is done, I feel like you can go a little bit higher than that. But what do I know? 208, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, hey, I'm calling you from the Pacific Northwest. Great show tonight, by the way. First question I got to ask you, and I'm a little confused, and I saw others in the comments that were a little confused. So that motorcycle that was doing 140 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any information on, I mean, how was that being filmed? I couldn't quite wrap my head around that.
I think he had a GoPro on the back of the bike. And with a GoPro, you have a really wide angle lens. So it may appear to be further back than what it is.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I watched it 2 or 3 times after that. And then when he hit the truck, you could see everything kind of condensed. And so that's what I was thinking. But I thought, man, not just one going that fast. It had to be 2. But yeah, it makes sense now. It makes sense.
Yep.
And then the portion that you had on the coyote or whatever this guy was talking about the border and decrepit, embarrassing Biden's policies. That's a shame. And honestly, if you compare this to what's going on in the Middle East with Israel and Gaza, the guy just said they're being weaponized. I mean, we know it. You got fighting age young men crossing the border. You got 10 men and 2 women. I mean, that's pretty much how it equates out. And with this president and this administration, it's just nuts that anybody with any common sense would be able to see what's going on. So I really think that the sitting president that we have hates this country, or somebody's got so much dirt on him that he can't do anything. I mean, we know he's corrupt, but I'm sure we only know a portion of how corrupt he is. So, and unfortunately, we're going to be the ones that suffer.
Absolutely. Unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully to God, and I agree with what you said in 2024, and I think that, the capacity for it to happen is here. What you were saying, if there's another race incident with the police, that's going to be like gasoline on a tender.
That's right.
This country is going to explode again, or maybe it's something else, but this is what I can tell you. The people that really hate the United States, there's enough of them in this country now, thanks to Joe Biden and his border policies, to where every patriotic American, if it breaks loose, is going to have to be in the streets fighting for the country because the military won't know which way to look.
That's right.
And as far as the guy was talking about the teachers getting $10,000 a year, I mean, that's a lot of money. And you done the math, you come up with some good numbers yourself. But, I kind of agree with the guy in a way. And this is the way I look at it. So we send tens of billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're sending aid to Israel. We're sending aid to, a lot of countries, billions and billions of dollars in aid. We got a wide open border. We got underpaid teachers. So, I think that money could be used to give them maybe a $10,000 raise every 3 years. But I think our teachers should be very, very well paid for the job that they do. Because that is America's future. They need the incentive to actually do a good job, So I kind of agree with what he's saying. I don't know about the $10,000 per year, but, they should be making good money, very good money.
Right. Absolutely.
But anyway, once again, great show. Thanks for taking the call, and I'll talk to you in the future, my friend.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right. A shout out to the callers. The phone lines are blowing up, so y'all please hang tight. The number to call, 434-658-1220. All right, Victor, what's going on?
Hey, long time.
Long time, man. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Hey, you have something similar to Dave Chappelle. They're both calling you anti-Semitic.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody's anti-Semitic. I mean, everybody. I mean, like, people that are, like, super Jewish and always talk about it, they're anti-Semitic as well. It's like, what are we doing?
I mean, and this type of war is something that I really think that the civilians, at least the civilians in America, need to probably take a neutral side, because there is a lot of nuance that most people probably don't understand.
Yeah, and, you know, people, they may watch their favorite news channel or their favorite person and go off of what they say without really knowing all of the details to make their own decision.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, watching their favorite news channel, they're only going to give you half truth or give you something that you want to hear.
Yep.
But if you're not even going to hear the opposite side, how much of the truth are you actually getting?
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to talk about Jason Pass. For the people who don't know, he's from Brooklyn. He shot a father and son over dispute over some noise in the apartment building. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I played it earlier. Well, I didn't play the gunshot part, but I played the precursor, like them in the stairwell arguing.
Yeah, you heard about him getting a shootout with the cops?
Yeah, he got deleted himself by the police this morning. So I was like, well, hey, he was going to go out like that. I mean, you do something like that, you take 2 lives in the staircase over some noise, and then you saw the video. It was unnecessary. The guy was walking away. He shoots him. Here comes the son. He shoots him, and then he goes back to the father, hits him in the head. It's like,
yeah, that's crazy.
What are you doing, my man? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, I will say this, because a lot of people on Twitter saying that, oh, he killed 2 innocent people, which I agree with that. At the same time, that stepfather did pull scissors out on him.
Sure did.
And with that, you don't know what type of consequence you're gonna have. It's gonna come to you when you do something like that. It's almost like you almost literally brought a knife to a gunfight.
He sure did. You know, and the thing is, it's like, okay, once you escalate it like that, once you bring the knife out and put it right to him, see, now you set the stage for escalation. So although he was walking away, you already escalated it. So now you it's kind of hard to get out of it. You can't just say, oh, no, never mind. Nah, now the person got their gun out and they're ready to get rocking. So they went ahead and got rocking.
Yeah. The last one I want to talk about is the debate video that you recently put out. That broke my heart. That you, it's something where you could exchange ideas and help you just understand a lot better about reality. You taking something like that, and you basically shutting down all conversations. I think part of that reason why debates are going like it is the creation of safe space. You create these safe spaces because you don't like to be challenged on your view, and then when you take that same mentality into the debate, and you want to act like that.
Right. I mean, it's totally crazy. Totally crazy.
Yeah. I ended on this because a lot of people think that talk bad about Christianity, saying that Christianity don't want to give evidence and stuff like that. Go to Acts 19, where Paul basically go into the lion's den and talk about his faith and challenge anyone about that about their view of God. That right there shows you why safe spaces don't work. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
Yeah, very good point. Very, very good point. Shout out to my man Victor for the call. Great call as always. If you want to get in through Skype, there's an email in the description box. You can get in through Skype. Be right there at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 423 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Kendall. How you doing tonight?
Everything's all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing the best I can given the circumstances.
Right on.
I wanted to talk about the Uber thing, but first, a little short story. God rest my soul. God rest the soul of my dad. Passed away at age 41 from fentanyl, but he told me a story about how he was working out in Vegas. He was an electrician, and he was running around with his electrician buddies, and he was outside of the supermarket. And a lot of the details escape me, but basically he was talking about how he was running around with this big, white, fat, cornbread-eating boy. And they were outside of the supermarket, and he was like, "Is that Flavor Flav?" He looked over at my dad and said that. And I guess he was just pushing a buggy doing normal person stuff. And this big old dude ran up to Flavor Flav and was like, "Are you Flavor Flav?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, you know what it is," all that. But anyways, back to the main thing. I've done a little bit of Uber in my own personal dealings. I'd get the girlfriend in the car, and we'd run around and make a little bit of spare money and have a little bit of fun doing it. But I think that your concerns are warranted, but I think you also have to be able to look at it from the back end perspective of like the business. You were talking about how like people were throwing food because their tip was bad, but that may have been the case before, but the way the business is currently structured, you accept the full amount before you start to make the delivery. So you have your fare and then you have your tip added to it. And people can tip more. They used to be able to take it back, but now they can't, as I understand it, for Uber Eats. And so if they were throwing the food because they didn't get a good tip, that'd be strange, because they would have to be able to accept the predetermined amount and then go get the food, and then they would throw it. That wouldn't make a lot of sense, but things may have changed. But I think that the warning that your food may be delayed is actually fair warranted under the current business structure. Now, you can argue that the business structure should be like per mile guaranteed. Like, I'm a truck driver and I get paid 41 cents a mile. Like, if it was like that would eliminate all the issues, right? If it was fair pay per mile. But if these drivers are driving around and then they'll see a dollar amount pop up on their phone or the screen in their car, and it'll be like, if it's just the fare, they're going to know it because it's going to say drive 15 miles for $3. And that's not profitable. So if you're from the driver's perspective, if you have full autonomy to be able to accept and reject deliveries, then from the consumer's perspective, if you don't tip, you're not going to incentivize drivers to pick your load because it's not profitable for them. So whenever Uber presents that warning saying, hey, your food isn't going to arrive on time because you didn't tip very well, that's probably what's going to happen. Uber has no control on that. They can't force their drivers to take the delivery, or at least they don't. So from the business side of things, that makes sense. Now, I would say, and I would agree with you in this, that tip wages and tips in general kind of suck. And you should just get a flat rate per mile, or if you're a server, you should make a livable wage per hour instead of getting $2.75 or whatever plus tips. But that's my own personal perspective, and I'd like to hear you kind of respond to that.
Well, I definitely will, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
You bet.
All right. So great call. So I'm going to respond to what he was saying. I'm not against tipping. I think it's perfectly fine. I used to work in a restaurant for a long time. I worked in a restaurant for 5 years, Old Country Buffet, and then they would get tips out on the floor. So I know how it is. It could be a profitable thing, and I think that it makes sense the way the structure is set up to get tips in the restaurant. The way it is, where you get paid a lower amount of money, but you make it up in tips, makes sense. Some of these girls, they go out there and make a killing. They would make more by getting the lower per hour plus tips than the higher per hour with no tips. So it just makes sense. Or they could get paid higher per hour plus the tips, but even if they, like, let's say a waitress or a waiter, I don't want to be sexist, anybody might get offended. Let's say wait staff, they make $2.50 an hour. That's what it was back when I was a youngin'. I'm not sure what it is now for the exception to minimum wage. Let's say it's $2.50 an hour, and then they could bring home in tips $200 a night, $300 a night if it's a good restaurant and it's rocking and it stay busy. Or even $100 a night on a low night, and let's say they work 5 nights a week. Let's say they're averaging $250 a night. They got a pretty good week. If they're doing 5 nights, you're talking about what, $1,200 plus their wages. And at a certain point, their wages, they could just, get a tax man that. Well, that's a whole different story. I don't want to get into the whole taxes thing, what they're going to withhold and whatever. They got a new thing now where they can determine how much money you should be reporting to the IRS, but that's a different story. I think the tipping is good for the restaurant industry, but then when it gets expanded to other things like self-checkout at a grocery store, or I'm not a fan of Uber Eats in general, so I wouldn't even really be involved with that. But there's always some kind of conflict over how much somebody would tip, and it just gets to be too much drama sometimes, so I'd rather not even deal with it personally. And I'm not really a delivery food kind of guy. I always like to pick up my food I pick up my food regardless. I pick up pizza and everything else. But if you enjoy that service, the food delivery, grocery delivery, then that's fine. But I'm just not a fan of it in general. But I am a fan of tipping when it makes sense. Restaurants always tip very well in restaurants, always. I used to work there, so I understand the grind and the hustle. And I also tip valet parking, and if I'm at a hotel for a long time, like let's say I'm there for like 3 days, 4 days, I tip at that point. And I always keep my room clean, okay? I don't leave a mess in my room. All you really got to do is clean the bathroom up just like regular, normal, and make the bed. Beyond that, it's nothing on the ground. I'm not going to leave trash everywhere. It's going to be good. But I digress. So shout out to the caller. Let's keep on rocking here. 859, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yo, ABL, what's up, bud? How's it going? Sorry, what's up with you, man?
It's all good, man. It's all good. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. I heard your whole thing about tipping. I used to be a waiter at a few restaurants here and there, and I mean, it does make a difference, when you do really good service, when you get out of your way to serve the public and you get good tips. But there's some people who just straight up stiff you, which is a bit of a problem by yourself, especially when you go out of your way to make everything comfortable and you're just like walking home on a weekday with only $20. It's always the best feeling. That's why I end up just doing what I'm doing now instead of being a waiter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I understand.
And I'm there with you. I agree with you. I don't want to tip a machine. There's no point of me tipping a machine. That's insanity. I'd rather tip the person who is going to serve my food instead of a machine that is going to, hey, here's your total here. How about you put a tip in? I'm like, what? Then by that point, by that cross right there, by that point, yeah, I'm not stepping that way. That's a line that should not be crossed, and they crossed it. And I'm there with you. If I go through a kiosk, trying to scan my groceries, and it says, "Hey, do you want a tip?" and I'm like, "Why?"
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Nobody did it for me. I had to do it myself. It's a self-checkout for a reason. And then this whole thing with Israel and Palestine and stuff like that, I think the United States needs to stay out of it. But unfortunately, the United States has a bad habit of always trying to be the world police and trying to intervene on everything. And World War III is about to happen, thanks to this really dictatorial government that we have right now with Joe Biden. I try to tell people back in the day when Joe Biden was running, you're going to get the Bush administration all over again. And was I wrong?
You were not.
Yeah, we're going to war, unfortunately, thanks to this dictatorial government. So, hey, you know what? I do complain about Trump sometimes, but at least he didn't start wars every 5 minutes. He would just tweet at them.
Exactly. I take a few mean tweets over world peace over what we got going on right now.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Hey, thank you very much for taking my call, man. It's me, LeVar Mordred. And you know what? Hey, check my YouTube channel out. If you guys want to see ghost hunting, we have it. And also, happy Halloween, ABL. Halloween is one of my special days, and my mom was actually born on this day. So I took her out to eat to a Mexican restaurant, and it was all great.
Well, shout out to you and your mom. Shout out to your mom. Sorry, happy birthday, belated birthday.
Right on it. Hey, happy Halloween. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, now take care.
See you too, bud.
All right. Shout out to you guys for being here. We got a lot of calls on the line, so y'all please hang tight. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. And if you can't get on tonight, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man. 318, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, sir. This is Morgan. I'm from Louisiana.
All righty. I got a little bit of noise in the back.
Hang on 1 minute. This here is Morgan. I'm from Louisiana.
All righty. What's going on?
I was going to talk to you about the mass shooting subject, if that's all right.
That's fine.
All right. I just had a little question. I've heard a few people over the years. I mean, I'm 30 years old. And, they always talk about how video games got something to do with the mass shootings. I just wanted to hear your, thoughts about that. They say, you playing Doom and this and that. Violent video games got something to do with the mass shootings. I hear all kinds of people saying that, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts about that. And I'll take it off the air.
All righty. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. So the question about video games, do I think that has anything to do with the mass shootings? I don't think so. I think actually, like I said earlier, video games helps a lot of people have something to do and some kind of purpose, because a lot of people, and I've been here, where it's like you have nothing else going on in your life and you want to have some kind of hobby. You might have things going on in your life, but you still need a hobby, some kind of outlet, something to do. And if you have any kind of internal rage or frustration, you can get it out in the video game. So if you're shooting inanimate objects, it's a way for you to release stress that way and to have some fun. Again, it's a hobby. One of the unifying factors behind most of these mass shootings has been psychotropic drugs. And the people were already experiencing mental problems. It just showed the guy. I showed the guy from Maine. The police went to his house 6 weeks prior to the shooting because they fear he might commit a mass shooting. He was in the mental hospital for 2 weeks, and they probably put him on pills. And that's probably what took him over the edge. Most of the mass shooters that go hit up a school or a church or a restaurant or something, most of them got the same kind of profile. Lonely male, on drugs, depressed, mental issues. That is the problem. I don't think video games would make somebody become depressed, or it would make somebody get on these medications. That's the biggest thing. I think one thing that happened at the same time these at the same time these first-person shooter video games became popular, at the same time you have Big Pharma bringing in all these mood-altering substances, all these artificial just chemicals, and we're just getting inundated with it, inundated. So, of course, that's going to cause a problem more than anything else, in my opinion. Let's keep on going. 215, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hold on, ABL. Can you hear me?
I hear you well.
All right, so here's another thing I wanted to say about the whole, and I can respect people's opinions. They know everybody has to feel how they feel about video games. But one thing, coming from an actual gamer, somebody who's played video games his entire life, shooting games, racing games, video games does not cause mass shootings at all. video games do not teach you how to shoot guns. First of all, video games don't teach you how to shoot guns. Like, even though people could say it looks realistic, everything's realistic, the reloads, but once you actually get a gun in your hand and shoot it, it's a whole different story, especially if you've never shot a gun before.
Right, exactly. You know, when you playing a video game, you got a controller in your hand. Okay, you playing with the controller, and you're on the screen, and you're looking at it that way. It's not the same thing as being out there actually shooting the gun, the recoil, how to load, how to do all that, especially a rifle or a shotgun. It's not the same thing as holding the controller in your hand and just moving around the screen pixels.
Exactly, because a controller, you just use your fingers and eyes, unless you got one of those like realistic, you know, hookup controllers that's shaped like a rifle, and even still, that's still not realistic because you got to reload, you got to put bullets inside your magazine.
If you want to go old school with PC gaming, like how I first started to play the first person shooters was with keyboard and mouse. So you literally just pointing with the mouse and your keyboard. So it's like typing. That's not anywhere near being out there with an actual gun in real life. It ain't the same thing at all.
No, it isn't, because I was about to say, if that's the case, I'm one of the best drivers on the game. I'm a really good driver. I can drive without crashing, but, you know, when I first started driving, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I had to take my time, ease on the brake, ease on the gas. I couldn't just go out there and just start racing. No, it's just, I had to take my time and go by the steps and all that, because I'm a good flyer, but I can't fly a plane in real life. That's the point I always hit people with that point. Because if that's the case,
exactly.
Yeah, because I could fly a plane, I could fly a helicopter, fly a plane in the game. Why can't I do it in real life? Got to get trained, you know, got to get licensed, certified for that stuff. So it's the same thing with guns and video games. I know a bunch of people that's been playing video games since they were children. They never thought about going and shooting up a school, none of that crap. Because, well, number one, there's consequences, and that's going to take me away from my video games forever. Because if I get caught, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. So I can't play video games ever again. So am I willing to give up video games to let out some inner rage? No, sorry. I'm not judging you guys, but that's me. I'm not getting away from my video. I'm not sacrificing my video games to kill a bunch of people to satisfy some rage. I'd rather go to a gym, sign up for a gym, and just do boxing and just get out that inner anger.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I don't mean to judge these people. That's what I used to do. I used to just either work out, play video games to get the stress off, or there's so many other ways to just release some inner anger, stress. Shadow boxing, that's another thing I did. Practice, you know, martial arts, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So, and honestly, I'm telling you right now, here's what I used to do when I had a problem with being bullied. That anybody ever has a problem with being bullied, honestly, you gotta suck it up. You gotta face your bully, and you gotta let them know you're not scared of them, and you're not gonna be afraid of them no more. And and as for a kid, if you gotta fight your bully, if it gotta get into a fight, you might get your ass kicked a couple of times, but eventually you're gonna hurt that bully enough. You're gonna do some severe damage to a bully to the point where they're not gonna mess with you no more. That's what I did. I wasn't no martial arts back in high school, but let's say towards the end of the high school, I didn't have no more bullies.
Right. You know, the main thing I always tell anybody, if they had an issue with a bully, I would like, well, fight the bully, even if you lose, because what bullies tend to do is pick on people that they think are easy marks, is not going to fight back. But if you fight back and you make it difficult for the bully, win or lose, at a certain point, they're not going to want to keep messing with you because they know they can't just do whatever they want to you. It's about setting boundaries. And that should be the same way throughout life. I'm not advocating people go out there and commit violence, but if you're getting beat up every day by the bully, fight back, and maybe it'll stop. Because, again, he can't just do whatever he wants. And that should be all throughout your life, set boundaries.
And one more point, I don't want to take up too much time, but that's for anybody that's mistreating you. You have, say, if you have a manipulator in your life or a person that's very controlling, eventually you got to stand up to, not fight the person if you don't have to. Yes. If it has to get physical, it has to get physical. But you have to set some, you got to really put your foot down to people, family members, bosses, anything. Listen, you can't, if they're talking to you crazy, listen, you can't talk to me like that. You're not going to sit and talk to me like that. either you talk to me with respect or we not going to talk at all. There's no reason for us to talk. Or, you know, you just got, there's ways you can set boundaries with people. And over time, even if they might still feel less about you, think you're this, might not never like you, but who cares? As long as they respect you and know they can't just cross you without you saying something, that's all that matters.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night.
Same to you. Now, I see some of you guys talking about the bully might bring a gun to school. Typically, the bully going to be soft. The bully not going to bring the gun. It'll be the guy that's getting bullied to bring the gun. Because now he has to escalate it to stop it because it's been rage and the inside building up. Typically, the bully is a coward. He thinks that he could just do whatever he wants. He's not really trying to fight somebody that might want to fight back. They're not going to bring the gun to school. And if they would do something like that, they would have already done it. That's typically not how bullies work. Not the guys but I don't know. Things are different nowadays, but typically that's not how that works. But you guys may disagree. Let's keep on rocking here. 702, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Tony.
All right, man. What's going on?
Nothing, man. ABL.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How's it going, man? I love your show, man.
Everything's going well, man.
Yeah, been a fan for years. Listen, not to go off topic, but talking about the Mexican border, wouldn't it be an ideal thing to do to maybe send money over to Mexico and build houses over there instead of them coming over here, you know, spending transportation and housing and putting a burden on, the American taxpayer? I mean, wouldn't you think that that'd be much easier to do? Because in doing that, you'd be creating jobs, for the Mexicans.
Well, the problem is they don't want to stay in Mexico. They want to come here. So they don't want
Right.
to. What would the houses do?
Well, that would give them safe haven. They come here for opportunity as far as they're looking for jobs here, but they can create jobs there.
Nah, they don't want it. They don't want to go there because they know Mexico's not America. Mexico, in comparison, is a poor country. So why would they want to come to Mexico? They want to come to America, and they come from the whole world to do it. They're not coming from Beijing, China to go to Mexico City or Guadalajara or somewhere like that in the poor country. They want to come to New York City. They want to go to Los Angeles, right where the money's at, right where the action is at.
Gotcha. So they want more than just jobs. They want the whole American experience.
They want the American dream. They want the welfare benefits. They want the jobs. They want the education for the kids. They want the kids to become citizens by being the anchor baby. They want the whole enchilada. They don't want just to, like the media will say, oh, they're trying to escape poverty. Yeah, right. Because they got money when they come over here. They're paying coyotes 5 and 10 bands to get smuggled each time they try. And they might try 3 or 4 times. They have money, but they want to come here and get more.
Right. You got all sorts of people coming over, criminals and, women and children and diseases. And I don't want to put it out there like that, but it's American people are struggling enough,
Absolutely.
as far as welfare and everything else. Like, what it comes down to is it's on the American taxpayer,
Right.
That's our money. And it's like, I just want to know the end game. Like, what is Biden trying to do? He trying to cripple the system or what?
I think what they're trying to do is to import a bunch of cheap labor because they know that the inflation is killing the economy and the American people want more money as far as the wages are concerned, minimum wage and everything else. So that they bring in all of this cheap labor from foreign countries, they can kind of undercut all of that and give us some relief.
Okay, I get that, but are they trying to replace us?
Well, yeah, that's already happened. Like some people, like people that have lower paid jobs, like, okay, you want to work fast food, grocery store, that's over with. That's done for the regular American citizen, the law-abiding American citizen. That's a wrap.
Yeah, almost every empire on earth, man, only lasted like 250 to 300 years. Roman, Ottoman. America's no different.
Yeah, what's happening right now? They're trying to pick the illegal aliens are trying to pick apart the last pieces of America before it collapses. That's probably their mindset. Well, let's go here right now before it is done, before we can't go anymore. The door is open. They're letting the door open. Come on, let's go. That's pretty much their thought process.
Yeah, man, I turn 46 next year, man. I still love this country, man. I'm still saving my money, and I still got some hope for the future, you know, for us. But listen, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I love all your content and everything you do, man. Listen, just you know, keep doing what you do, and you have a good night.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. 773, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for taking my call. ABL, I'd like to talk about the qualified immunity. However, first I'd like to talk about the mass shootings. You know, before you dissect the brain of all these guys who either off themselves or are killed after a mass shooting, before doing that, we could simply, I'd love to see a study. How many of these mass shooters, and you hinted towards this before, ABL, how many of these mass shooters were on any kind of psychotropic drugs? I don't think Big Pharma would ever let that come out, a report like that, because I think they'd be afraid of liability. I don't know how you feel about that. But I really do wonder how many of those mass shooters have been on those psychotropic drugs. I think it would shock people of just how many of these shooters have been or are currently on those psychotropic drugs. Zoloft, all those. I think they're very dangerous drugs, and I think, you know, homicidal and suicidal and, you know, homicidal and then, you know, kill yourself is right in the forefront, and I would be curious to see how many of those are on psychotropic drugs. Now, about the qualified immunity. Look, qualified immunity is not for the bad policeman, because you don't have qualified immunity if you've done something against the law as a policeman. If I violate your civil rights or just, you know, slap you in the face because you talked back at me, or I did anything like that, I don't get qualified immunity. Qualified immunity is for all the lawsuits that come with doing this job. I have been sued many times. If I had to have my own lawyer on retainer and spend the money that it would take to have, for each policeman to have their own lawyer, we could not do this job. Right now, before I retired, of course, right now, when you're a policeman, you know, and somebody sues you, you get sued for a lot of things. Well, the city, the corporate counsel, that's the city lawyers, they will back me up and take on whatever lawsuits come because you know, I'm in the right. So they take that. I'll give you an example, ABL. I got a call, if I may. I got a call one time. The woman was calling 911. Her ex-boyfriend was banging on her door, and she called. In the meantime, while I was responding, the ex-boyfriend broke down her door. He goes into the apartment, and he breaks the bedroom door down. And in the bedroom is the ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend. The new boyfriend gets out of bed and pummels the old boyfriend. As a matter of fact, that's a home invasion. He could have shot her and he probably would have got away with it. He's home invaded you. You don't know his intentions. Now, once I showed up, the ex-boyfriend is on the ground, all bloody. The new boyfriend is holding him down. I cuffed the old boyfriend. I'm starting to take him out. He's all bloody. I have to call an ambulance. And the sergeant asked, what happened to the new guy, to the ex-boyfriend? And he said, that officer beat me up, pointing to me. I beat you up? Well, did I also break the door down on the front door down? Did I also break the bedroom door down? Then when the sergeant asked the couple, the girlfriend and the new boyfriend, what happened, they shrugged their shoulders. Why? Because they don't know the law, and they thought if we admit to beating up the ex-boyfriend, my new boyfriend will go to jail. No, you won't. You had every right to beat him up. But instead, the guy said, you know, that officer beat me up, which I did not. And I got sued. Well, I didn't do anything wrong. So corporate counsel took up that case, and they were able to show that it was a warrantless allegation, because obviously he broke the doors down. I mean, it's obvious I didn't touch the guy. But if I didn't have qualified immunity, I would have had to get my own lawyer. I would have had to pay for a lawyer and have him figure the whole thing out and do all that. So that's why you need qualified immunity for the police to do their job. We're sued all the time. If I did something outrageous and egregious and all that, then corporate counsel is not going to, you know, they're not going to cover me. So qualified immunity is for the honest policeman that doesn't get their own lawyer. So anyway, what do you think about the having a list of those mass shooters, ABL, seeing how many of those mass shooters were on psychotropic drugs?
I definitely want to see that, because I think that's going to be the common link between all of them. Because the drugs, it puts them in different state of mind.
I believe that too, ABL. I think there's going to be a high number of those people that are on those drugs. Now, what do you think? Do you think that Big Pharma would squash that report?
They would try their best to squash it, because they know, I think they know now that a lot of their drugs are involved. They don't want that report to get out.
I believe so too, ABL. And, you know, of course, as a policeman, I've been to many suicides and everything else. And inevitably, a lot of those people that commit suicide, when you look, you know, at what they've been taking, the drugs they've been taking, inevitably, there's always those psychotropic drugs. Why? Because they were depressed. They went to a doctor. The doctor prescribed these psychotropic drugs, and it helped some people, but I believe there's a big portion of people that they're not all going to be mass shooters, but a lot of those people just commit suicide. Unfortunately, I see a lot of young people committing suicide, and they're on those drugs. I would really love to see a report on that. And I really think that they, you know, it's almost on purpose that they don't look into that, because I don't think they want you to look into that. I really think that you'd be shocked. I bet 80% of the people that do those mass shootings have been on some kind of drug like that.
Absolutely. Right on.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents, ABL. Thanks for taking my call, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, great call. And that will be a wrap for today's show, tonight's show. Thank you for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. I'll be back live again on Saturday, of course, same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern. This is a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. This will be available 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time. Thank y'all again for being here. Shout out to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I thank you for joining tonight's show. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, putting out pre-recorded content. Y'all check me out on my other platforms, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not going to call it X, and, of course, the website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. And thank you to everybody for super chatting. Thank you to Monique Price, Slenderella with the dancing emoji super chats. I appreciate y'all. And shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. Shout out to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I could not do this show without you. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.